Welcome to Street Talk. This is where we talk about what happened on the street.
How did we come up with that name?
It was a long, hard process. So, as is tradition now, Michael's going to start off by giving me some clickbaity headlines, and I have to guess what it is that they're talking to or referring to that happened in Coronation Street.
It's not such a good week this week, I have to say.
I think we're scaring them off.
I got through them. I think we are getting them to change their ways. Right, GB News, Gemma. So,
oh my God. What is this?
I know. Well, Coronation Street star faces bigotry backlash for urging schools not to axe Easter as woke mob rage. Do you want to just give a bit of context about what this is actually about before you do a bit of guessing?
I can't get political about this, and we can't get too specific because this is pretty close to home actually, because this is a Southampton school that the headmistress the woke mob will be after me. The head teacher, who's a lady, she wrote a letter to everyone saying, we're not doing Easter. We're not doing it. Can't be bothered this year.
They've cancelled their Easter service.
We're not doing a bonnet.
Easter bonnet parade in the name of equality. And it's been quite a big scandal.
Really what she said? Look, it's been a while. And everyone's taken this story and put all kinds of different ideas on the top of it.
Which Coronation Street star has said...
Charlie Lawson.
No, this is not Charlie Lawson.
No way.
I know that Charlie Lawson is a favourite on GB News.
I bet he's got an opinion on it.
This is...
Oh, I know. Is it Daniel Brocklebank?
This is Daniel Brocklebank, yeah.
Yeah, we know that he is a big Christian because he plays Billy in Coronation Street. And I'm sure that Billy would be quite concerned.
No,
I'm really sad about this because I loved Easter bonnets when I was a kid. Did you used to? I suppose.
Yeah, we had Easter bonnet.
I remember my mum went all out. I had a proper Bo Peep bonnet one year. It looked amazing.
I bet you were so pretty.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Next up, from the Manchester Evening News, Coronation Street fans spot blunder that left Betsy Swain being shot and say, not being funny.
What does this mean?
What's this about?
What, when Lisa blundered her way to the gun?
Kind of.
What's
the blunder, though?
That she shouldn't have been there?
Pretty much, yeah.
Why did she go around the back?
And how did she go around the back? Because it would have been cordoned off, surely.
The police were like, let her through.
Yeah.
Let her through, it'd be fun.
She might get shot, that'd be a laugh.
And they were like, not being funny,
no,
but it wasn't funny.
Betsy, this didn't really even come into the conversation when Betsy and Lisa were talking about it in tonight's episode, was it? Like, Betsy saying, oh, this is your fault, and she said, Betsy saying it's Carla's fault. But there was all these I say it was the police's fault for letting her slip through. There was clearly cordon up in some places in the street, yet she was allowed to walk down there. Utterly bonkers. When the gun went through the window and then they said, "Oh, we've shot somebody," it came out of the blue. Really, that it was Betsy, didn't it? I thought maybe that Lou or Mick might have been gunned down out there because were the good folk of Maudsley Street told not to go out into their backyards?
Can you imagine telling Mick and Lou not to go in their own back garden?
I think it would rather. I think it would make them do it even more.
I'll do what I want, thanks very much.
Yeah.
I need to put the washing.
Anyway, that's the blunder, and I do agree. Not only was it. I don't think she could have got there if the police had been doing their job properly, but hey, it was probably Craig that put the tape up. I'm still not sure how the gun fired through the window and Betsy, was she in the gun or did it go through brick? I'm not really sure. I enjoyed the drama because I certainly didn't start Monday's episode thinking that Betsy was going to be shot by the end of it, but there's some kind of curving bullet going on there, I tell you. Is
it any coincidence, Michael, that the JFK files were just released and now we've got more information about how he was shot by a bullet that surely went around, circled about and did curves and went through walls and stuff.
This is the alien technology that they got from Roswell, isn't it? Bendy bullets.
Bendy bullets have finally made their way to the UK, and I say, no thank you, America. You can have them back.
Maybe it was just heat-seeking.
She's the hottest girl in the Guinnell at the time.
Clearly.
Okay.
Final one for this week. The Sun. Terrified Coronation Street stars banned from 2 reality shows as cast fear losing their jobs. What's this all about,
Okay, is this
Gemma?
to do with... right, what...
So only one of these was actually about what happened in Coronation Street this week. We will get onto that in a minute, I swear.
So I know there's a long-standing rivalry, and everyone knows this, between BBC and ITV, and they both have their own little reality television shows where... and people want to be on them. And I never remember what they're on because I don't watch any of them. And even the ones I do watch, I don't actually watch them on the television, so I can't remember. So is this about them wanting to be on
This is the
dancing?
No, they can do dancing.
Dancing on Ice is cancelled. Is it Dancing with the Stars?
Strictly Come Dancing. Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, it's
is the
American
version, isn't it?
So is it that they're scared that and they want to go on dancing? I mean,
Strictly Come Dancing.
Starmen dance on the BBC, but they can't because it's BBC.
Yeah, it is a long.
And what's the other one then? The Traitors.
No, I think it was like a Bake Off or no, not Bake Off. I actually don't remember. But anyway, yeah, this was to do with the fact that Dancing on Ice, after 17 years, has been cancelled. So Sam Aston is the reigning champion of it. So he's pretty undefeated.
I thought that was going to happen.
Pretty good.
Undefeated.
What?
Feet. They did it with his feet.
They did indeed. But yes, according to the article in The Sun, Coronation Street stars have been left worried because they can't sign up to the BBC reality shows for their extra cash. Well, they're going to be
not
poor.
Having any money.
They can't get that sweet reality show cash. No.
Oh, I'm scared for them too.
So I don't know. There's always Celebrity Big Brother, isn't it? Now that ITV's got that in its grasp.
Well, they can't be on Traitors either.
No, sadly not. Sadly not. Okay, right. So on to actually what happened in Coronation Street this week. I told you earlier I had some pretty tragic storyline titles for this, so I apologise in advance, Gemma. Have got the Chase and Donovan one first, which I'm sure you're still chuckling about from last week. I got an alternate one for this as well. Betsy Slain.
She could have been.
She could have been slain. I'm going with it anyway. Following that, we have got Tom Hell Bombshell.
Does it rhyme? Because it rhymes?
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever I'm doing that rhymes, you just say, oh, does it only rhyme? My storyline titles don't have to be genius plays on words. They can't just
Tom
rhyme.
Hell refers to nothing.
Tom Hell, he died. That's pretty hellish. And this is the bombshell about it.
Are you saying a child went to hell?
No. So
How
this was my moment of the week.
Michael, I wish everybody could see you
stuff.
right now because you are so smug.
I was so chuffed with tonight's episode of Coronation Street. I have been theorising, I have been hypothesising that Daisy was somehow involved in Tom's death for the best part of 4 years now, and there's not many long-standing theories that we keep, is there? I don't think we theorise very much because I just don't have much of an imagination. But one thing I said, and we obviously make up our silly ones at the beginning of the year that we don't necessarily think are going to happen, but I've been saying for so long, and can somebody who's re-listening to all these old episodes of Conversation Street, can you find this for me? I've been saying for so long, I reckon that Daisy was something to do with Tom's death, and stone me if it didn't get revealed that this was true tonight. I was absolutely chuffed by this, and I'm going to say thank you to whichever Coronation Street storyliner took my idea and brought it to life in such spectacular fashion. I'll send you my bank details if you get in touch.
You can just PayPal us.
Next up, Todd gives the nod to the god with the bod.
Oh, does it just rhyme?
Yes, that just rhymes. You're getting it, Gemma.
Can I? Yes.
What?
That's fine, isn't it? That's good. Well done.
Thank you. That's all I want. I just want well done.
I just wanted to say that
I've been doing these storyline titles for 10 years.
You're doing an excellent job.
What do you just want to say?
That you're doing an excellent job.
Okay, thank you. Dee-Dee up the duff is next. I don't know whether she's going to be up the duff for much longer because those twinges are getting closer together, aren't they? I'm not saying she's going to lose the baby. Gemma's just giving me a glare like I was making
I didn't
light
glare
of.
at you.
What did you do?
You've seen me glaring.
I know that you're right, actually. Grease Monkey Nuts is next, so we had a little bit of Kevin's cancerous thingy. Dylan,
it wasn't quite terminalness.
It wasn't, no. I've got a new storyline title for Cassie and Steve together from Cassie, Steve's new lassie or whatever. The Skank and the Plank. There we go. So
it just rhymes, though.
It does... Fine. Right. Would you like to do old Chase and Donovan, Gemma, or would you like to take up... What? No.
Can I just say one thing before we start? And that is, does anyone else find it disturbing that the whole Grimshaw family has fallen in love with, what's this guy's name?
Theo,
based on the fact that he seems to be cosplaying as Jason Grimshaw.
Do you reckon, is that what he's going for?
If I tell you, picture Jason Grimshaw, how many of you are now imagining him with his little hard hat on and just a fluorescent jacket with just his biceps out? Because I think that was a fairly common Jason outfit back in the day.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that Jason, in my head, if I'm picturing his costume, had a t-shirt with a monkey on? Can you picture that?
I remember him with a plaid jacket.
Yeah, he had those as well sometimes. He had
course,
I
I'm
can't
sure
remember
he
what
did.
this monkey t-shirt said, but yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that is.
Maybe there's like a primal kind of. Is it like Oedipus? What is it? Oedipus?
I don't know.
Some kind of horrible incestuous memory here that's coming out from all of the Grimshaws, and they can't. They really need to confront. I think they all need therapy.
I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get any of that storyline today, because actually that's been a real highlight for me this week as well. It was so nice to have Todd, the star of a
something
story,
else.
do something.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Do
He's
something.
got possibly a fella here on the line that just
They're
needs
very
to reel in.
confused by that
Julie is
story.
still an utter delight to watch, despite her inevitable demise that's going to be hurtling its way towards us in the very near future, I imagine. Yeah, really fun story this week. So I'll be able to talk about that one if I'm going to be starting off, because that's
you
story
can
number
start
3.
off with
So the
this.
Betsy nearly slain storyline kicks off where we were left, and
Here's a disclaimer. The episodes of Coronation Street were broadcast this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I did get the
So
days
we
wrong
may-
last week on the podcast. I apologise.
We
for
may
anyone that tuned
say
in on Thursday.
Tuesday, but we may say Monday, but we mean Tuesday, and it really is irrelevant. It was the first
The
episode.
first episode of the week picks off where we ended last week, 6 days previously, with Tracy and Rob in some kind of hostage situation and him with
and
a
Rob's,
gun.
understandably peckish.
He's understandably peckish, yeah, and he's a little bit bloody, isn't he? From all
Michael,
his kidney dramas.
what's your favourite pudding?
What's your favourite pudding?
What's
that was
your
the quote
favourite
of the
pudding?
week, wasn't it? Well, when he was talking about Butterscotch Angel Delight, I'm not going to say that's my favourite one, but that did give me a bit of newfound respect for the Donovan clan, that they had Angel Delight on their table. And I don't know whether any of our overseas listeners know what Angel Delight is, but it's just a very delicious powder that you put milk in, and it makes a very
Well, you've got 2
tasty,
options.
set, creamy dessert. It's very nice.
You
A
can add
staple
more
of
milk.
school dinners, and indeed just the 80s in general.
You can add more milk and make yourself a milkshake.
You can. You have to
Now-
put half a pint in if you want it to have the proper Angel Delight. You put a pint in, you get a lovely milkshake out of it.
Now, I don't want to speak out of turn here,
I think that's right.
but I do think there might be a bit of a class thing here. Because I think that they put that in to sort of demonstrate how poverty-stricken the Donovans were.
I'm sorry.
But we weren't allowed that when I
in
was
their
a
right
kid. We
mind?
couldn't
Who in
have
their
that.
right mind doesn't like Butterscotch Angel Delight?
I didn't even have it until we went to university.
Seriously, was that
You know that.
Were you an Angel Delight virgin until you were 18?
You know this. You know
I don't.
this.
I've forgotten.
Yes, you did, because
you were.
Michael, what's your family secret about Angel Delight that you told me when we went to university?
I don't know.
You had it because it made you poo. Do you remember telling me that?
Angel Delight.
And because I love you so
It's
much,
a
I
good
tried it
laxative.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, and that goes to show you how willing I was. Went along with all the stupid Spice Girls stuff. Went along with I read Dwarf. I enjoyed that already. And doing a Coronation Street podcast, how many years later now? And tried Angel Delight, even though you told me it was a
So
laxative.
what are you saying that Angel Delight has got to do with class?
I think they were talking about, we're so poverty-stricken and poor.
But
and
you were
he's like,
poverty-stricken and poor.
What's your favourite pudding? Angel Delight. I think maybe I'm speaking out of turn, like I said. What do you guys think? I think a lot of people had, a lovely homemade cake that Mummy made or something.
Tower of
Angel Delight.
profiteroles with
Angel
spun
Delight
sugar.
is something that you can make as a kid. You just get milk and you mix it with powder.
I'm going to say, and I don't have
I think there
particularly
was- I
wide
do
cooking
think there was
repertoire,
a
but
bit of
Angel
a-
Delight is on there for me.
I'm not trying to slag it off because it is really
Good.
nice. I'm just but can you
I
see
want
what I
some
mean?
now.
Can you see what I mean? If I said to you, what's your favourite car, and you say Corsa, I go, well, you're obviously not into cars, are you? That's the hidden knowledge
Always
that
used to
you
be a
gain
Ford
from
Fiesta
that
for
line.
me.
I'm not
What-
trying to
what
slag
is
it off.
your-
I'm just like, I bet you if you asked Prince William, he wouldn't go, I love Angel Delight.
He might do.
No, I know what his
He's
favourite
down
cake
with the
is. It's
common man.
refrigerator cake because that's what he had for his wedding.
What is your favourite pudding? You're not much of a pudding gal, are
My
you?
favourite pudding is lemon posset, and there's a bit of a hidden class detail in that.
Lemon posset is kind of like Angel Delight, but fancier, isn't it?
It's very, 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 very easy and cheap to make lemon posset,
Lemon
but
posset
it
is
sounds so much
delicious.
posher than it actually is.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Baba Rum. That's another
I
favourite of yours.
love
isn't
that too.
it? Would- If Rob
Or if there
Donovan
were
had his gun
those
to your
two-
head.
I'd say lemon posset because that's all I could think of.
Yeah, I do like a bit of lemon posset. I don't know whether I've got a favourite pudding.
No, I don't. I think people who
I
have
just-
a favourite anything are a bit limited, aren't they?
No.
What's your favourite colour? Why do I have to pick one? In what context are we talking?
You're criticising people for having a favourite anything.
Yeah. Open your mind.
I think if Rob had a gun to my head and
Doesn't
said,
it
"What's your
change?
favourite pudding?" I don't think I'd be able to say anything if it turned out that I was wrong, and he'd treat me if I was wrong. But I was talking to somebody today about puddings, and the Marks and Spencer's sticky toffee trifle that they do
That's
at
your
Christmas
favourite at
is
Christmas.
actually very, very delicious. Yeah, that's nice. But lemon posset was something you introduced me to. Anyway, that's not what the Donovans ate. They had... But this isn't even the beginning of the episode that this happens in, but thank you for bringing it up.
I'm just really fascinated.
Tell us your favourite puddings.
Okay.
See, I did like I said, was a school dinner pudding.
I don't think we had it at school.
Yeah.
I never heard of it. I thought it was so bizarre.
Maybe it's a northern
when you
thing.
told me that you like eating a packet of dust mixed into milk.
And it's got to be the butterscotch one. The chocolate one's
The
just nowhere
butterscotch
near
one is
as
really
nice.
nice. I can smell it now.
Speaking of
It's
school
really
puddings,
nice.
I do like a bit of Arctic roll. They don't think they have
They
that
don't make that anymore.
Do you remember the little cuboids of ice cream you got in the cardboard wrapping?
No. Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway, look, sorry.
Maybe
nearly half an hour into the podcast now if you're listening to the whole thing.
I don't know. I imagine that the import rules wouldn't allow this, but if only we could send our patrons.
I know what's a really tasty pudding.
Of butterscotch Angel Delight.
We could brand it with Conversation Street, couldn't we?
Patron.
Eel flottant.
Oh,
very nice
eels.
pudding. Eel flottant, yeah, nothing to do with eels. Meringue. Floating in very tasty custard.
It's not meringue,
absolutely
though,
lovely.
is it?
We don't have it in this country.
It's not baked meringue. It is... No, we do have it in this country. It's just not... It's not very common. It's called floating islands.
Yeah.
But it's not the meringue is poached in milk. It's not baked. So it's soft, and then it floats on custard with caramel sauce on it. It's
These
amazing.
Corrie writers knew what they were doing when
they
put that line into
What's
the episode.
your favourite pudding? Eel flottant. Why?
Carla's gone off in the world since the days of when they were growing up in the 70s. Right, look, Tracy's there at number one. She's trying to do a runner, doesn't she? It looks like Rob's losing consciousness or falling asleep or what have you, but so she tries to sneak out. He leaps up, smashes her phone, and she's in there for the long haul, she realises. She later tries to find him a bit of food, and they're going through
There was a lot of discourse about this as well.
Was there?
Going through the cupboard.
Going through the cupboard and finding all the out-of-date tins. It's a bit of a cliche, I'm going to say.
It's like Amy never did a harvest festival.
Yeah, they had stuff dating back like 10 years or so, didn't they?
Well, people were complaining.
Tin of marrow fat peas from 2017.
Somebody was complaining because Deirdre was dead at the point at which this marrow fat peas were out of date. But I don't think that matters because I think she would have bought it before she died.
You reckon?
And the other thing that people were saying was that he's had his kitchen renovated since then, so why didn't he eat all his tins?
This is true. Pat Phelan did his kitchen up, didn't he, in 2017?
We've got tins we moved house with.
Yeah, you got to take
because
them with you.
Because at some point they're an heirloom, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, he's saying, whatever. Just I need Carla. Give me Carla. Get her on the landline for me.
You can tell that food is my favourite subject. I can talk about anything.
Oh, you've got a favourite subject, have you? Broaden your mind of subjects, Gemma. You walked into that
Why
one,
is that
didn't
really?
you?
Why is that really annoyed you? Doesn't your favourite of anything change through your life?
Yes, it does. It does. Right, look. So over at the flat, Carla's there. Carla's flat, that is, and she gives Betsy some hems to unpick to keep her busy for the day. And she says, Betsy says, I'm going back to school tomorrow. Going back to college, sorry. And then Tracy calls up Carla and says, I've got a business proposition for you. Can you come over?
Well, she was very stilted. And
she's not
weird.
allowed to say, I've got your dying brother here. Can you come over and help me out with him? Because he wants to blow your brains out.
Carla, he's got sepsis and everyone knows that's boring. He's the third person to have it in 6 months on this show. So it's got to be something else up with him.
So Carla comes over going, why are you being so weird on the phone, Tracy? Why did you need me so much? Why couldn't you just drop your business plans off at the factory? And then Rob pops out and holds the gun up to her. So Carla is now hostage number 2. And he's like, sit down. Mark Bayless, again, throughout this episode, superb performance. I really, really rated him this week, didn't you?
Yes, definitely. And can I also give props to the makeup department? Because he looked so waxy and pale, didn't he? He looked really sick.
Yeah. I think overall my impression of the hostage situation was I felt like I wanted a bit more out of it. Yeah. I don't know what more I would have wanted, but
It wasn't prolonged, was it?
It wasn't prolonged, and it could have been something that, in the hands of another writer or storyline or producer or whatever, they could have made the whole episode about this hostage situation. But maybe if they'd have done that, I'd have got bored of it. I don't know. But anyway, he's there, calling the shots with his not shotgun, and he says, "Right, Tracy, sit yourself down, love."
No. Carla, sit down. Tracy will bring you your
that's
meal.
right. Yeah, so I was kind of... Yeah, he brings over some hoops on toast. No, it wasn't hoops. It was
spaghetti on toast.
Spaghetti on toast, yes. Another classic. This is just all of my repertoire. If I was doing Come Dine With Me and I wasn't trying too hard, I couldn't try any harder than this, could I? Tin on toast, Angel Delight, and I've got to do 3 courses for Come Dine With Me.
What else would you do?
I'm a bit stuck with Talking to Come Dine With Me. Did anybody see that clip of Sally Ann Matthews' brother on it?
Brilliant. Loved it.
And there are people who didn't know
Hilda Baker.
Hilda Baker.
Not a real person.
Anyway, so he's got spaghetti hoops on toast is the best. Grated cheese on
disgusting.
Top. I'll have anything out of a tin like that.
No, you won't. You won't. You won't eat beans on toast.
Oh no, I won't. I do hate beans. But
beans on toast.
Hoops,
no.
Spaghetti, bolognese, ravioli, sick. Campbell's meatballs. Disgusting. Stick them on toast. Grated cheese on top. I'm a happy guy.
All of those things you just said are the most disgusting things. Beans on toast is fine.
No, that's
a
the
normal,
worst one.
Classic, British. Everyone in this country, apart from you, will defend it to the death as being a normal thing to eat. Americans think it's weird, but
do most people
the less said about that, the better.
Start off by that's their dish, and then as they get older, they just expand to being able to cook more? And I never reached that. I was stunted when I met you.
I always cooked for you.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting really off topic, and I said I wanted to get this done quickly today. But did anyone have that book, Student Grub, by Jan Arkless?
Yes,
when they were students. We
book.
had that book, and she died this week. That's really sad.
Gemma.
That could have been what you learned to cook from, though. Loads and loads of people listening to this who went to university around the time that we did in the 90s, early 2000s. They would have had a copy of Student Grub, and they would have learned, unlike you, how to cook more than spaghetti on toast.
Well, there you go. You just bummed everybody out now, haven't you?
Sorry, but what an amazing... I bought another copy of it this week because I just so many fond memories of going through that book. And that is how I learned how to cook. You know how I always cook carrots? Yeah. That's where I got that recipe from. I always cook carrots the same way.
Okay, so Rob's plan, it seems, is that he's going to die in front of Carla, and she's going to have to live with the memory of seeing what she's done.
What an emo bitch.
I know, he totally is, isn't he? What a drama queen. So Lisa, meanwhile, is back at the flat later, and Betsy says, well, Tracy went over to number 1. Carla went round number 1 earlier. Tracy called her round. It was a little bit weird. But anyway, that's where she is if you want to know.
Well, that's why Lisa knows where she is.
Yes. So Carla, meanwhile, is telling Rob that if you wanted to die so much, you just pull the trigger on yourself. You're clearly bluffing. You're not going to do it, are you? And she says that. And he says, oh, no, this is going to make you suffer more, actually. So she's not taking it and lying down. She's goading him. She's like saying, oh, yeah, come on, then. Well, when you pass out, we're just going to phone the ambulance and they'll drag you away and you'll be fine, actually. So, yeah. And he's like, no, you won't. Lisa tries to ring.
You should have written for this episode.
I know. Well, was it?
Joe Parkinson.
Was Joe Parkinson? No, he was Wednesday. He did Wednesday this week, Joe Parkinson did. Look, I come up with the ideas like Daisy was involved in Tom's murder. Drowning.
Oates.
What? Debbie Oates? Debbie Oates wrote Monday's episode, I think. Yes, you're right.
Butterscotch pudding.
They did ask me, but I was too busy. Lisa tries to ring. They don't pick up, and then a message comes through, and Rob's like, oh, she's getting worried. So he likes the idea that Carla is suffering more with the knowledge that her darling girlfriend can't get hold of her. So Tracy and Carla are on the sofa later when Lisa comes to the front door. Betsy had told her where she was, of course, and she calls through to them, and Rob's like, shut up, don't say we're here. He's groaning in pain, isn't he? All the way through this. He's like going, every so often. Everyone was just in pain. Who else was in pain
Dee-Dee.
on Monday's episode? Oh, yeah, Dee-Dee's having a moan this week, isn't she? So he's like going, it hurts. Carla then comes up with a plan to get rid of Tracy by saying, oh, go and get him some stronger medicine. It's in the button tin, from when I used to live here. And Tracy's like, oh, yeah. She goes out to the kitchen and then makes a dart for it out the back door. So Tracy is escaped, leaving the two Donovan siblings together in the lounge. When you went into the episode on Monday, did you have a theory or strongest prediction about who's going to die, if anybody? What's going to be the outcome of this? Is Tracy going to get out of it okay? Or did you just watch the episode and roll with it?
I had a lot of this spoiled for me.
Oh no! What happened? What was it?
It was just
those Twitter people again.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I told you not to look at Twitter on
Tuesday.
No,
this happened before.
Oh, what, last week you knew?
Yeah.
I wish they had. I didn't.
It's my own fault. It's because I like to read about Swala fans. I like to see what they're up to and see what they're talking about, and I enjoy seeing their comments and things. And so when I log into our account on my phone, it shows me something completely different to when you log into our account on your phone. And I didn't realise this, but did everyone know this? That you can see different, your algorithm is not necessarily set to your account, it's set to your phone, which is kind of even more creepy.
We talked last week about some Carla Swala fans spoiling it for us.
So look, I'm not going to say the word they're spoiling, I'll do it to myself, because I know they're going to talk about what's coming up. They love spoilers. I just can't help myself.
I think that I'd heard that a gun was going to get fired.
I knew Betsy was going to end up in hospital.
Oh no, did you?
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
And
did you know that last week?
So therefore I knew that everyone else was safe.
Oh.
And I didn't know what Rob. They don't care about Rob, so I didn't know what was going to happen.
I did wonder whether Rob was going to be meeting his maker on Tuesday's episode.
I was fairly sure that Rob would die.
Yeah. Well, has he stopped being in it now? Was Wednesday his final episode? I haven't seen anything. I don't think he's done a goodbye video, but then he was only in it for a cameo, and maybe not everybody gets them. So I don't know whether we're going to see him again. Maybe we will. But anyway, so I'm sad for you that you had that spoiled.
Don't feel sorry for me.
Anyway, Tracy's escaped. She runs out the back door into the ginnel, right where Lisa is, who happened to be loitering around trying to get in the back entrance. And so she says, look, Rob's inside. Carla's in there with her. Meanwhile, you got Rob telling Carla, that was a really, really stupid thing for you and Tracy to concoct together, and he holds a gun at her. Lisa...
He just loves it.
I know. He just thinks he's hard, doesn't he? Lisa tells Tracy, don't tell anyone about this. Don't risk causing panic. Just keep it down. I'll sort it. Good old Lisa coming in to save the day. Good old stupid Lisa. What?
Can't say that.
What does she do? She calls Kit, doesn't she?
This is
she
really
says,
weird.
There's a hospital situation, number one.
If I was
then
Kit,
she decides to go in anyway.
At this point, I'd be so sick of people on Coronation Street, and I know Lisa is his colleague, but this is not the first time somebody has called him instead of the normal police phone line that we all know the number of to get help for something that's an emergency.
Direct line to Kit Green.
Stop phoning me up. We have a number. It's 999.
I'm on a break, okay?
Maybe I'm on the toilet. Maybe I'm in the shower. I'm not always going to answer the phone when you're being held at gunpoint.
No, he's not always going to be at the beck and call.
No, I've got other things to do. I've got my own drama.
Just because he looks like a telegraph pole,
just
doesn't mean
looks like I can see everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I did see this happening. I just chose to
There's a crime
it.
happening. DC Green. DC Green. Stand on your tiptoes and let us know what you can see. He got to call Detective Beanpole in tonight's episode, which is great. I do wonder whether Jacob Roberts doesn't mind it, or whether he gets a little bit
I hope he doesn't
fed
mind
up.
it, because we're quite mean about it. But it's it's a.
If I was tall like him, I'd like it.
I think it's one of those things that it's okay. It's okay to be kind of tease somebody about, like, being rich. It's like, what? Sorry, are you sad about being tall? You can't be.
Well, maybe he bashes his head when he goes under doors sometimes. Lisa is telling Tracy. I said that one already, haven't I? Carla, back inside, saying, Rob, look, I didn't know Tracy was going to run away. But please, just get that gun out of my face. Rob is ready to fire it at Carla when Lisa comes in and tells him that killing a hostage would add years to his sentence. Don't do it. Yes, Lisa has thrown caution to the wind, gone into the house with a mad gunman inside, and he is proper fuming at this point.
She's nosy like me. I wouldn't be able to stay out.
And she wants to save her precious Carla, doesn't she?
Surely that she would get in serious trouble for doing this. She's done this so many times, hasn't she?
She's gone renegade. She don't follow no rules. I want to see her dressing down from Bostello back at the station later.
You just love justice too much.
I do. So he beckons her to sit.
I'm Bostello saying to Lisa.
Oh right.
You love justice too much. You're like Kit, but the other way around.
She's like, Swain, you went against the rules. You let the previous hostage go. You phoned up the phone on the mobile. You went into a hostage situation. But damn it, Swain, if you didn't get a good job at the end of it, I'll let you off this time.
You got your man, Swain.
Anyway, she says, right, get your ass down next to Carla, and she sits down next. Well, she sits down kind of. I wouldn't let them
sit next to each other.
Why? Well, can we get onto anything onto there?
No, I'd say no. This is what you want. It's like when in class. I'm sure you do this. No, you're not sitting next to your friend because you'll talk to each other.
Yeah, that's true. Should have been you sit on the dodgy old sofa. You sit on Ken's decrepit armchair.
Hands in laps. I want you to see your pencil. Where's your pencil? You haven't underlined the dates.
Well, Lisa sat down slightly in front of Carla so she could be a human shield, couldn't she?
Oh, and that's what causes all the trouble.
War a hero.
Betsy didn't like it.
I've lost where we are, the notes again.
I'm too excited.
This was exciting stuff. So Carla's crying later and she says, look, I just want to help you, Rob. I don't want you to die. You're a survivor. We both are.
We lived on butterscotch, Angel Delight.
Yeah.
We went through terrible poverty, spaghetti on hoops.
We can get through a childhood
on toast.
of that. We can get through anything. We can get through this. You saved my life, Rob. Please let me save yours. So the police sirens start to arrive. Nice drone shots on Monday's episode, I'm going to say. There's some people running around the roofs with the camera pointed down at the cobbles. Nice. Police turn up. Kit's there in his Kit car. Was Craig there? I don't know whether Craig was in it this week, actually. This is too high drama for him. Anyway, Rob calls up Kit on Lisa's phone. And he's like, I want cash and I want a helicopter. So starting to get into the realms of incredulity here. And talk about tropes and cliches. Where are you going to park a helicopter anyway? I don't think.
I didn't even think of that.
I know that when they moved to Media City, they made it so you could fit 2 cars down the street, famously. But a helicopter? Oh, I'm not sure whether they could stretch to that. Maybe on the roof of Underworld.
Maybe that was what did it in the first time.
Do you reckon? Anyway, this is when
he's like, what's your favourite pudding?
This is when he demands his angel butterscotch Angel Delight and some fortune cookies as well.
I hated that.
Was that for Lisa that you wanted the fortune cookies?
No, he wanted them for the irony of what it was going to say. Because she said to her, what's your favourite pudding? And she wouldn't say. So he's like, you want a fortune cookie? I'd be insulted if somebody suggested my favourite pudding. What are you trying to say about me?
Whose favourite pudding is a fortune cookie?
They're not even Chinese.
Dry,
they're American.
And
we shouldn't call them fortune cookies in this country. We should call them fortune biscuits.
We did have some fortune cookies the other day, didn't we? We should have saved what they were. But anyway, yeah, if I was Lisa, like iron brew and fortune cookies, what a combination, eh? And pineapple on pizza as well.
I do quite like fortune cookies. They're nice.
Yeah, but you wouldn't kind of.
I wouldn't say
you wouldn't sit through a bag of them as a snack, would you? You know,
before I die. What?
Sitting there in front of the Olympics or whatever,
Olympics?
some sporting
before
event.
Before I die, watching the Olympics with my bag of fortune.
Before you die, we watch the Olympics. Yeah. Well, is it the Gladiators final this weekend or is that next weekend? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Getting myself a bag of fortune cookies for that. Tell us who's going to win.
Okay.
Anyway, He hangs up the phone, gets Carla and Lisa down on the floor, and crows that he's going to get the police to shoot him dead. So his plan now is that he's going to shoot Lisa, isn't he? And then the police are going to come in, and then I don't think he'd shoot Carla.
I found this
because he wants
ridiculous.
Carla to suffer here, doesn't he?
So
if he shoots Lisa, police barge in and see that he's shot her. He's going to get shot as well.
Yeah.
So Carla has to watch her brother and her significant other die. And that's just what he wants.
This is Coronation Street, though. In like 6 months, she'll be over it.
I thought it was quite exciting. Why did you think it was stupid?
I thought nobody in real life would ever say it or do any of this, would they?
He's gone crazy. He's been locked up in prison for 10 years.
He's got sepsis.
He's got sepsis. It makes you do crazy things. I thought for the drama it was quite a fun...
For the drama... But like realistically speaking, people do not act like this, do they?
I don't know. I've never met a mad gunman before. I'll have to ask one next time somebody
want to meet one.
Pops into the...
If I meet an armed gunman at this point, I'm just probably going to shriek, "What's your favourite pudding?" out of...
They don't catch them off guard.
Yeah, and then run away.
While they're having a thing, you grab the gun.
You throw a fortune cookie at them and say, if it's a bad one, you got to put the gun down.
Phone rings again. Rob refuses to answer. He says, I want to keep guessing. A nervous officer is a trigger-happy officer. So, outside, you get a few onlookers. I thought Corrie's...
What would Mandy think? What would Mandy think?
What is Mandy doing at the moment?
I saw some people. The baby are all right.
I saw some people theorising that Mandy was going to get shot this week. That she was going to come in and try and do something, and then end up because she's still got Rob's baby, hasn't she?
Well, I heard that actually the theory is now that Kit is Mandy and Rob's baby from the future, come back in time to try to save his dad's life, which at the moment. Sounds plausible
Kit
for
is
Coronation.
Mandy and Rob's baby, so that means Kit is Bobby's brother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not?
My condolences. Anyway, I thought that Corrie's onlooker game was not on point this week.
We watched quite a lot of hostage situations for our bonus
we did our
Patreon
episode this week, didn't we? Top 5 hostage situations.
And I'm going to say that one of the most obvious differences between current I think it's because they've had 60 years of hostage situations at Coronation Street. No one cares now. They're like, what? So what?
Police tape again.
I don't
God,
care.
what an inconvenience.
I'm not going to look. I'll just watch it on ITVX.
They could have had a lot more of neighbours gawping and gossiping. They're
the best
didn't they?
line
Bobby
of all
was
time.
there. Is he there?
The best line of any hostage situation. What's your favourite pudding is number 2, but the best one of all time is Vera going, "Hiya, Ken. Oh my God!"
Yeah, that was more
Why
about the
can't
fire
we have
than the
that?
hostage situation.
Why can't we have that?
Yeah, no, it wasn't so great. But anyway, they're there. Bob, Nina's the one that's there with Bobby. Just shove him into a scene because they've got nothing better.
So he can shout about his dad, and everyone will go, "Oh, Bobby!
When are the scales going to fall from your eyes, Bobby? He's a wrong one."
I feel so sad for him.
Don't have any sympathy for Bobby. Lisa has collected the fortune cookies from the front door.
No
later.
Angel Delight.
Sadly, no Angel Delight has arrived.
This is why Rob couldn't die, because he's got to have a sip before he goes.
Rob demands that she take a fortune, which says, "Stop searching. Happiness is close." This week in Coronation Street was all about the philosophical.
Oh yeah.
Because Steve was looking through Tim's little book of
Quotes,
yeah, and they probably cut from the same cloth, really, aren't they? They probably just take one of those books, chop it into slips, shove them inside the cookie, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and Bobby's your brother.
Anyway, Rob's
your dad.
I'm not going to say I particularly felt those cookies were needed. I kind of see what they were going for.
I didn't get. Stop searching. Happiness is close. It didn't feel ironic.
Not on the nose enough.
It wasn't like so completely off that it was funny. I thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity. I was really looking forward to what the fortune cookie was going to say, and when it just said that, I thought, what?
Yeah.
Is this? But maybe this might come up. Maybe this is something that Lisa's had on her mind. Maybe this is to do with Swala, and will at some point this fortune cookie piece of paper, will this be brought out?
Unlikely.
When they get married.
Unlikely.
Well, they could do. If they haven't thought of it, then put that in your back pocket, because this was not relevant to the hostage situation, but it was very relevant to Lisa and Carla's relationship, wasn't it?
I guess so.
But I just thought that it could have been a bit more.
So the climax of the episode then, again, I was very excited by this. Rob gets phoned up by Kit again. He's distracted.
Kit's like, no, look, I'm trying to play.
Kit's like, hey,
Pikmin.
What did your fortune cookie say? I really want to know.
It's like, I'm eating the butterscotch Angel Delight.
I couldn't resist it.
It's so delicious.
It's just really, really nice. Anyway, Kit rings him. Rob is distracted by the phone, so Lisa takes the chance, what a hero, to grab the phone. No, the gun. Grab the gun and point it at Rob. So the ball's in her court now, and then he's not having any of this. So he jumps up at her. They have a bit of a tussle, and then cut to outside. We hear a bang. Then the armed team go in through the door, batter it down, go inside. Everyone's alive. Everyone seems pretty fine.
What happened to the bullet?
The bullet has gone through the window.
Wow.
Out into the ginnel.
What happened to it?
It's old Betsy. Betsy was out there. Heavens to Betsy. She's been shot. Who knows what she was doing out there? We've talked about that before. But unexpected for me at least, cliffhanger of the episode.
Bringing the Angel Delight around the back.
It was all, very, very coincidental, and it's right. It didn't make sense, I think, why she was shot. I really didn't get the fact that how she would be there. I would have...
It would have made more sense if she had gone through the cordon.
Yeah.
It could have been.
If we'd have seen her sneaking through the cordon, even.
They wanted it to be a big shock. Like, oh gosh, like, it was for
and
you.
It was.
It was for but it wasn't for anyone who saw a spoiler that they released.
It's also
they released so much information now. There's no point trying to do surprises.
I just think it was too coincidental. Like, if it had been another randomer that wasn't related to the storyline and then suddenly got brought into it, like, oh, they're having Daisy in this storyline, are they? Or
Daisy's run in front of a bullet instead of running in front of a car.
Yeah. But they didn't. It had to be Betsy. Although, to be fair, I did think that the momentum from Monday's episode did carry on quite nicely into Wednesday, which doesn't always happen in these situations, partly because it was the whole whoops, I just shot my daughter scenario that gets set up after. It
really was just to set up the
situation.
Drama.
Yeah.
With,
so I forgive it.
Those three.
Yeah. Carla and Lisa are in hospital.
No, hang on, you've missed a really important bit.
What?
When Rob gets put into the ambulance, and Carla goes up to him, gives him a hug, and says, "Get some help."
Was that really important?
Yes, it was important. That's the last thing she said to him.
Okay.
Oh, you can just pick and choose what you read out then.
No, actually, I think I do remember it now. Yeah,
that was a really important part.
She's forgiven him. She's not holding it against him. You're taking the mick out of
me for saying something's relevant.
No, you're right. I forgive you. Yeah, you're right. Wednesday comes round. Betsy and Lisa and Carla are all in the hospital. Well, Betsy's in surgery at the moment, isn't she? Trying to get this bullet out of her shoulder. Lisa
just take it out. It went in.
Yeah.
There's a hole there already.
Tip her upside down and give her a shake.
I've seen them. They need those special forceps with the pointy ends.
Yeah.
Simple.
And it's like operation, isn't it? If you go to one side of it, she'll buzz.
Yeah. Any woman who's had to do their moustache knows how to do this. Get a lady in there.
Anyway, Lisa is catastrophizing. She's obviously not just concerned about the fact that Betsy has been shot, but she was the one what did it.
And I didn't realise that obviously nobody tells Betsy that this happened.
No, not straight away anyway. Not until Friday's
not in this episode.
No. Back on the street, you got Mary and Tracy chatting around about what happened. Mary, this is where we get the great line about when Mary's marvelling at Tracy's capacity for deception.
Unlimited capacity for deceit
in the fact that she didn't tell anybody that Rob was there in the. She even didn't she go to the shop to open up after the whole...
I literally cannot believe that Tracy was like, I know what I'll do. I'll just put my gilet on and get myself back to work. Because they're probably going to sell loads of bouquets now to all these onlookers.
Anyway, Kit comes and wants a word with Tracy, basically. Tracy has set Mary up as a bouncer outside Preston's, hasn't she, to stop any gorpers coming in, but Kit's not having any of this. He needs to have a word with our Tracy, love. So she's taken down to the station. She's not really in the mood for talking. She just says, yeah, this is what happened. I was in there. I got out. That's all there is. I've not got time.
Because she's like still confused about her feelings for Rob, and she doesn't want to say too much to incriminate him, but she doesn't realise that she might be in trouble herself.
Yeah. Because he says, well, I don't really care about that. What I want to know is why you didn't alert the authorities when you went to get a fake passport. You had every opportunity there to have dropped him in it, and you didn't. You went along with it. What's going on there then? She basically just says
you need to watch the episodes with me and Rob in it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
Back at the hospital, you got Lisa being told that the bullet has now been extracted from her daughter, but tragedy strikes. It's done some nerve damage. She's going to have a transfusion. They are potentially looking at life-changing injuries here. She may never... What do you do with your left arm?
Flip people off.
Again. I would say that she'd use her right arm for that, but...
Which one is it? Left?
She's her left arm, yeah. Betsy's a righty, I reckon.
Shaking hands with left-handed people.
Oh, when you go into the Scouts, you shake hands with your left hand, don't you?
Oh, what? Some kind of satanic ritual, is it?
Yeah. Anyway, do you think... Get your theories out here now, Gemma.
Right.
Do you think that Betsy's arm will get better, or are they going to do a Ryan Connor on her and have a permanent disfigurement?
I don't think it would be disfigurement. But it is kind of hilarious.
She should have a natty scar, though.
That about 3 years ago, I would have said, no, there's no, obviously she'll be fine. Now I'm saying it's like a 50-50 chance that she'll have permanent nerve damage in her arm, and they'll just never mention it again.
Because,
just like Bethany,
Bethany and a stoma.
Like, it'll cause some angst for 6 months, but it's not a life-changing injury, and they'll never really mention it, and the actress will just have to remember not to move her arm.
So who else? So Brian's got his face, Jack's got his leg.
They did remember
Bethany's
that Amy doesn't drink milk the other day because they were talking about...
that's not exactly the same.
Permanent disfigurement.
Losing your leg or having lactose intolerance. Which one would you rather have?
I mean, David's got epilepsy. Don't care. It doesn't matter unless it's a story.
I think that even compared to Jack, who's only one-legged, you can't tell.
Nobody would know.
Nobody would know. But
it would be kind of look.
There's not so much you can do with your leg anyway, is there? I'm not saying I wouldn't mind having it, but your arm is more useful than your leg. I'm gonna say, even if it's your non-dominant one, and I think it would be harder to have Sydney Martin, however talented an actress she may be, keeping her arm
in one place.
Would she just have it dangling, or would she be in a sling for the rest of her life?
At a certain point, everyone's got some life-changing injury or something terrible that medically has happened to them, and nobody will care about it. And if they actually bothered to make it realistic, then every single episode would have to be somebody in the waiting room for a checkup.
Yeah. Anyway, so what do you think that she'll
be fine?
I think she's going to be fine, isn't she?
And if she's not, like I said, it will not make one bit of difference to us.
I don't know. Like I say, I think if there's going to be with Jack, you can stick a pair of trousers over him, and you'd never know. I think that having somebody only have one working arm, I think that's going to cause a few issues.
I think they'll just forget.
No, I don't think so. But anyway, it's beside the point really, because I agree with you. She's going to have some twinges coming along, isn't she? She's going to be like,
feel it.
Oh, Mum, I think I can feel my fingers.
Hey, Mum, how many fingers have got holding up? It's one.
That's what you get.
I can do it again.
That's what you get for shooting me. You. Anyway, so that's going on. That's very tragic. Then you got we also hear throughout this that Rob's going to be okay. He's had his sepsis, but they caught him before it turned terminal, so he lives to escape another day. Meanwhile,
I think that poster in the waiting room that says 1 out of 2 people will get cancer. I think it should say 1 out of 2 people will get sepsis.
Yeah, it should do the rate that they
if you've got an injury, you're going to get sepsis. Just get ready.
Or just 1 out of 2 people have some kind of medical condition. It's probably even higher odds.
It's higher than that on Coronation Street. The odds of you
everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone gets some horrible medical condition. Deal with it.
Weatherfield General. Here's your bay. We're reserving it for you.
Anyway, Kit is meanwhile telling Tracy, we could charge you for helping an escaped offender. So really, you should help us out with our inquiries as much as we want here. Tracy's like, I just did what Rob told me to do. He threatened my family. Yeah, they're away at the moment, but I didn't want to take a risk. He's not convinced of this, but she sticks to her guns here.
It's like he threatened Lisa and Carla, and then Betsy got shot immediately.
Well, we've seen from...
Well, imagine if he killed Ken. You'd be mad then.
We've seen from the David story that if you're in prison, you have got...
unlimited powers.
Carte blanche to kill whoever you want on the outside.
Well, I mean, they can't put you in prison again, can they?
Exactly. Going to put you deeper in the
What are they going to do? Put me in prison twice? Don't think so.
Solitary. That's what I hear they do.
I like it. I don't like people anyway.
Carla finds Lisa outside the hospital on the bench. She's really struggling to hold it together. And I did feel bad for Lisa this week.
Oh, I felt bad
to an extent. And then there are other parts where I was like, Lisa, you crossed the line a little bit there, love.
This was very fascinating. This was such a fascinating...
Nobody wants to think that they've shot their own daughter, do they?
Nobody wants to think
it's a parent's worst nightmare that one day you might accidentally shoot your own flesh and blood in the shoulder.
British joke.
What?
Well, I mean, they're Americans.
Oh, yeah, in America, probably you do.
Probably do worry about that.
I'm bringing a gun into the house. It could happen.
I know that, yeah. We don't... That's the most outlandish thing to imagine in this case. It's like saying, I hope I don't accidentally drop an atomic bomb on Japan. It's just not something we do in this country. It's just a very American thing to worry about.
And she's like, I've seen people get shot and stabbed all the time. they're never the same afterwards, and it's my fault. Rob didn't fire the gun. I did. I shot my own daughter.
Hang on. This was
what?
very dramatic. It was really sad.
In a dramatic way.
You were hamming it up.
Well, that's why
I thought it's
Vicky Myers got the job and not me.
That is true. You did try out for it. I don't know why. Yeah, the same as you tried out for the scriptwriter on Mondays. Anyway, so I thought it was really interesting that she said that people get shot and they're never or stabbed and they're never the same again.
Yeah, just ask Alia about it. She just won't stop banging on about it.
It did.
Although she was a victim before, she's a victim after, so maybe she is the same.
It did ring alarm bells in my head a little bit, because although it's probably very true, and it is important, obviously, to acknowledge that this is also a soap where we've had trauma, female trauma in particular, and mental illness and health issues from trauma for like, it feels unrelenting over the past 10 years.
Betsy's not going to have shoulder shooting flashbacks,
I literally can't deal with the... We've literally just exorcised Seb from the street.
Yeah, I think he's not coming back.
So I don't want Rob to haunt.
Betsy.
You might do. I don't want Betsy, but Betsy's already had panic attacks about the fact that she saw Rob buying an ice cream. Well, now what's she gonna think now he's shot her in? Well, Lisa shot her. Is she gonna be scared of her mum? Like, I do totally appreciate how important it is to talk about mental health issues, and I think Coronation Street has done it really well. But I just think it's unrelenting now, and it's become a cliche, and it's so easy to just go again. I don't feel like anyone's learning anything from it. I just think it's so overdone now. But I just don't think that everybody has to have their own personal mental health crisis that takes weeks. I just don't think... I know that some people are going to get mad because I've said that, especially because these characters are very beloved of people, but I just hope that you listen to what I say when I say that this has been ongoing now, and it's starting to lose impact. And if you want it to mean something, it can't happen every time to every character, and we can't jump like swinging on a rope through the jungle from one woman's trauma to another. You know,
that's basically what it is. I kind of forgot as I was watching some of Wednesday's episode that it was actually her who pulled the trigger, because I was just caught up in the drama on Monday, and I knew that she had the gun, and I think when she confessed it, I was like, oh yeah, that is what happened, isn't it? So it's quite an exciting predicament.
So this was really fascinating.
They just had lots of crying and hugging.
Lisa had held this in up until this point and didn't even tell Carla, and then she had to do the same thing again to Betsy and tell her. And I was like, how awful.
Yeah. Right, so Lisa gets a phone call and to go inside. Betsy's stable. Go and have a look. She's out of the operation, and Betsy's there in the hospital bed being told by Lisa, oh yeah, you were involved with an incident with a gun, and Rob's got a lot to answer for. So I think it was Carla that says this, because Carla
kind of covers for her.
She thinks this is going to be too much.
It would have been very helpful if she hadn't done that, because Lisa could have told Betsy then.
Would it have made much difference that if she'd held it in for 24 hours?
I think the shock of learning that it was Lisa is partly what causes Betsy to spiral on Friday, because she says a lot of things that are very valid, but she also was reacting with shock to learning something that she didn't know. That's quite significant, that it feels like it was being hidden from her, and nobody likes that. So she's never going to have reacted really well. Like, oh, don't worry about it then.
Well, there would have been a bit of a double whammy anyway, because it was also this scene that we have the surgeon or whoever come in and prod Betsy in the arm a bit, and she can't feel anything. So yeah, this is when we learn that this nerve damage is maybe a little bit worse than we had first expected.
Remember when who got run over by a car and had to go to...
Oh, so many people.
And fell in love with a physiotherapist. The Webster child.
Who? Sophie. Sophie.
Yeah. This is going to be all. You better watch out, Lisa Swain, because she's going to fall in love with some kind of medical practitioner.
You reckon?
Doing her. Yeah.
Well, this is a man.
Let me learn to move your arm.
Okay, look.
Oh, why don't you wave me goodbye with your arm?
Lisa's like, what's next? What's
I
next? The man says, this could take months to heal. At best, you could lose sensation in your arms for weeks, but it is possible that the nerve sensation will never heal. And Betsy's really struggling to hold this together. Oh my gosh, just to imagine being
told that, especially at her age.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually really valid. She's still young.
And touch and look at, and so many people to flip off.
This is all you think it is, isn't it? That people, just because you do.
To be honest with you, I mostly use my right hand for that.
Your left hand's your cider holding hand, isn't it?
I use both hands. I'm ambidextrous with my cider.
When it comes to cider bottles. Right, it looks like Lisa's going to confess at one point, but Carla stops her. And Lisa kind of flounces out because this all gets a bit too much to her. She goes to visit Rob, and this is quite a fun scene, wasn't it? He's there in another hospital room, still looking pretty worse for wear, and he's like, oh yeah, you're here for a gloat, are you? No, she says, I just want to say good riddance to you. She tells him about Betsy, what's happened with her being shot, and he thinks this is great. I did love that even from his hospital bed, under police watch, that he's still grinning and crowing at her. And
well, what did she expect him to say? Go, oh no, yeah. That puts it all into perspective.
He's like, you should have shot me when you had the chance, shouldn't you?
Oh, sorry, your kid got shot.
So he kind of is goading her here quite a lot, and but she's not taking the bait. She says, I'm just going to comfort myself with the knowledge that you're going to be a frail old man by the time you get out of jail, if you even get out at all, that is. But then when she goes to leave, Rob plays his trump card by saying, this is Carla's fault. She's bad news. Everybody around her gets burnt. Trouble loves her. Everyone around her just finds themselves getting pulled into the sewer of Carla Connor, and now she's got you in her grip. It's all pretty chilling, I thought. But she's just like, well, not affecting me. Enjoy your extended sentence, and off she goes.
No, it's got in her head.
It has, and it kind of came as a bit of a surprise because this is the final scene on Wednesday, isn't it? We did it in between, have Tracy getting out and Amy's there, so not much happens there. So Carla goes back. Carla's kind of looking for Lisa, and she finds her outside of Betsy's room again later, and she's crying. And Carla's like, "Are you still blaming yourself for this? You shouldn't. This is not your fault." And Lisa's like, no, it's yours. She said, I should have listened to my instincts at the start. You're bad news, Carla. My daughter's my priority now. She goes inside Betsy's ward, leaving her crying. What did you think of this?
I mean, I know I'm like gonna put money on the fact that Carla and Lisa will not break up.
Well, they're back together by Friday, aren't they?
I thought they would be back together by the next episode.
It was a bit of a just one episode cliffhanger, wasn't it? It
was really shocking, but I know a lot of people really found it very difficult that Lisa said this, and they found it was really awful. It was.
I think it was. I was a bit surprised that Rob worked his magic quite so spectacularly and efficiently on Swain. He didn't have to say much, but she'd done a complete flip, hadn't she?
Well, she's projecting her guilt onto Carla.
Yeah. And I thought, yes, of course, she shot her daughter. She's going to be feeling massively guilty, but I still don't think that she was right. I don't think it was okay how she treated Carla there.
No, of course not.
It
really, wasn't Carla's fault.
No, it wasn't.
And now Carla's all alone.
Yeah. Carla's fault, why? Because she happened to need a kidney. She's got a brother
who's an idiot. Everyone's got a brother who's an idiot.
My sister certainly has. Yeah, I thought it was pretty terrible, and it's not completely out of character for Swain though. Sometimes she is a bit kind of harsh and cold.
They do like their spats, don't they?
Yeah, she's just because she can be very emotionless. Obviously, a lot of the time she can be a very emotional, which we see a lot of on Friday's episode. But
it takes a lot of emotion to be that emotionless. If that makes any sense. Yes, because she's worked herself up to this, and she feels guilty, and she thinks, I've got to protect my daughter. I've failed already. I guess I need to do it now. And
yeah, I totally get that. If she's saying, and it's true, her daughter should be her priority. As important as Carla is to her, if she's her mum, she's Betsy's mum, she should 100% be giving her 100% of her attention. But you don't have to kind of kick Carla to one side on the way.
Well, it's also, she's a grown, she's nearly grown, Betsy. She's going to college.
So? Doesn't mean she doesn't need a mum when she's been shot.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's not like Lisa could have prevented Betsy from getting shot by making her not go in the ginnel.
No, exactly.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
She's allowed to leave the house.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that it was just a bit of a cliche cliffhanger for nothing really, and it turned out to be right on Friday because, like you said, they do make up again. But yeah, it wasn't
dramatic.
It wasn't a good look for Lisa, I'm gonna say.
Well, everyone says things they shouldn't say.
Oh yeah,
when they're really upset, and I'm just chalking it up to that. And I'm sure that Carla, I mean, they've both of them, have they not both had moments where they've done this to each other, where they really should be...
I don't know whether Carla has.
Well, she'll have her turn, I tell you. There's a lot of Carla and Lisa to come.
It's just the fact that as well, it took like overnight for Lisa to cool down about this.
Yeah, but imagine if someone shot your cat.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine if you shot your cat and it was Carla's fault.
If I shot the cat would I blame you for it?
If I shot the cat, I'd definitely blame you.
Carla's in a narc first thing on Friday, unsurprisingly, about Lisa's attitude towards her and the fact that she's been ignoring all her texts, which is, again, a bit of a giddish thing to do. At the hospital, Lisa's avoiding telling Betsy about where Carla is, and she's like, no, I haven't binned her off. I just wanted to focus on Betsy now. I just wanted to focus on you, sorry. And Betsy's like, just don't let Rob win here. Talk to Carla. Don't be so silly. It's just the fact that he was able to get into her head quite so quickly. Was she just looking for someone to blame that wasn't herself? I don't know, because she still does clearly blame herself. I don't know. She comes around to Carla's flat later and says, look, sorry. I know 3 scenes ago we had a bit of a tiff, didn't we? But
I know it's overnight in the show, but it was like just 3 scenes where she was mad at her.
Yeah. Before long, they're hugging and crying and kissing and saying, I love you. And Carla's like, I don't want to come between you and Betsy. I don't want to replace Becky or anything. And Lisa just said, I just feel so guilty that I shot Betsy. If she finds out what's happened, she's going to hate me. Oh, the drama. Carla's saying, yeah, she probably will hate you for a little bit. But, that'll be a cliffhanger for an episode. Next episode, she'll forgive you. We all know how it works. I don't know.
Betsy is definitely very vengeful, and she's already been mad at Carla. And tried to take revenge on her.
Maybe she's going to try and blackmail her mum.
Yeah.
Because nobody else hasn't been officially revealed. Do the police know that Lisa was the one who pulled the trigger? Well, you would think that Lisa would have been hauled in to explain herself, like she was when the other thing happened. Well, when they had the other hostage situation with Rob, she had to go and explain herself, didn't she? Maybe. I can't remember whether Rob confessed to being the one that pulled the trigger just to make things easy.
Just to tidy up the edges.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want to know if Betsy's unpicked those hems.
Tracy, I hope she was planning to do it with her right arm. Yeah, or she's gonna have to use her knee to hold it on the table. Yeah. Tracy gets a phone call from the police station. They're not going to pursue any charges against her. So again, there's another little bit of drama for nothing. No, Tracy. Lisa goes back to the hospital, braces herself before going into the room. She's going to tell Betsy. She gets a bit emotional. She confesses everything. She's like, Betsy, it was my finger on the trigger. It was me. I shot you. And I was like, I was just trying to get the gun away from Rob. It went off. I can't help it. Betsy doesn't blame her for the gun going off, but what she does still does stick in her craw a little bit is that Lisa clearly, when she went in to try and rescue Carla, she had Carla as her number one priority, being the hero as what drove her to go in there. She didn't give one thought about Betsy and the potential that this could leave her an orphan. I'm pretty mad at you, Mum. She ends up saying, I don't need you, I don't want to hear from you. You are putting your job in front of everything else yet again, and yet Lisa isn't getting it. It's true. I mean, maybe she does at the end of this, but she's probably...
You're the most important thing in my life, and she's like, obviously not.
I think. Do you think that Lisa is going to leave her job? Do you think there's a chance here that she's going to say the only way that I can resolve this is if if I'm not a police officer anymore, because I can't help putting my duty in front of my family. And I guess some people might say, if you're a police officer, it's a bit like, if you're a doctor and you're taking the Hippocratic Oath, some things do have to come before
some professions where
your family. It's a vocation.
You swear to do something that is not in your or your family's best interests.
Yeah.
Like being a soldier.
Billy will tell you all about that.
Being sometimes
clergyman.
You're going to have to keep secrets. Sometimes you're going to have to put your life in danger. Sometimes you're going to have to work really late. And I know those things aren't comparable, but there are loads of jobs
Teacher.
where, where you have to do stuff that is not in your family's best interest. And I don't think it's ever right to say that nobody should be a police officer if they have a family.
No.
But there's certainly a difference between putting us the thing is about it, if she was playing by the rules of being a police officer, which we've kind of been told that she is a stickler, but she spent the whole time she's been a main character breaking all these rules and going against all these, I'm sure, procedures. If she followed the rules of being a police officer, she wouldn't be in danger quite so much. But she does love to jump in front of cars, and she does love to go into hostage situations.
Betsy is completely right about her.
She does wander into danger more often than you should do, but she is a police officer in a soap.
I don't think she can help herself.
No, she's far too... I mean, also, the other thing
she did take some time off work during the whole Joel mystery, didn't she? Well, she was taken off the case. But...
to consider here is that even if she wasn't a police officer, because this is Coronation Street, would she be able to help herself? She'd be in the middle of whatever happens next.
She'd be fighting Roy for the right to give a citizen's arrest, wouldn't she?
I mean, she'd be like Abby, wrestling with Abby, trying to run into a burning building to pull everybody out.
Yeah, I do sympathise with Betsy here, because she is, on her own. She's only got one parent
must be
left
really
at a
hard
very young age.
to think
your
parent take
kids
risks
don't get
like
it.
this.
Kids don't get it.
No, nobody. I would be even if I was as a grown woman. I'd be furious if I thought somebody I loved put themselves in harm's way unnecessarily.
Yeah, we had that story with Curly and Emma when she went into the shooty.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. She was doing everything right. She was wearing armour. She had a gun.
Yeah, but
not the same thing.
He still didn't like the idea
I
that
know.
she was put herself in these dangerous situations.
I suppose it's a bit different.
Maybe if if you're dating a fireman or something.
Yeah, probably. Why don't we have more fire people in? Why don't we have a fire station in Coronation Street instead of a police station? But the thing is about it is that this hostage situation didn't really need Lisa to go in there.
No, I think for the whole. Everybody
loves
Lisa and Carla, and this is the new hot couple at the moment, and now they're going to survive. One of them's going to jump in front of a bullet.
This is the burning question. If it wasn't Carla being held hostage, would Lisa have gone in there?
That is a really good point.
No,
that's a very good point. Do you reckon not? If it was just Tracy in there still.
No, let her die.
You're right.
She wouldn't have gone in because she's been shown.
You're right. That is the difference. That is 100% the difference.
And now, but then if Betsy gets it into her head that Lisa's putting Carla before her, because genuinely I do think that Lisa's put Carla and her job in front of Betsy, not purposefully. She wasn't even thinking, and it's really sad. This is we have to have people like this in our society. We have to have people who are heroes, and they do sacrifice themselves. And people in real life die all the time doing jobs like what Lisa does, and it's tragic. But do their families blame them? I would hate to think that for every person who's died in the line of duty, there's a family who's just furious.
But it probably happens more often. Yeah, someone's going to be. It must be.
It's really complicated.
I told them they shouldn't have done. Yeah.
So she needs therapy.
I did quite enjoy this storyline this week. The hostage situation wasn't quite what I wanted in the end. Although I can't suggest any way that I would have had it any better. Mark Bayliss, as I say, was superb. Kept me guessing. I wasn't spoiled by the Betsy twist. And I think that the conclusion, sometimes when you have these big climactic episodes, they're followed by just boring police interview scene after police interview scene after police interview scene, or they just go off the boil and nothing really happens. This has kept the momentum going quite nicely. And giving somebody a potentially life-altering diagnosis, she's going to be okay. But like you said, in recent years, Coronation Street have followed through with this. And maybe, I don't know if there was any regret 2 years down the line about Daly putting Ryan Prescott in that scar.
I remember when we were so confident when he got that, we were like, he won't be at the show this time next year. He'll leave.
He's survived longer than the Emmerdale acid attack victim, hasn't he? I'll tell you that.
Well.
Right, should we move on to the next story?
My turn.
What, do you talk about Jenny?
Talking about Jenny.
Jenny and Tom.
Oh, it's drama.
This is drama this week. I like this week. This is fun.
Right, so, Tuesday... There's something that doesn't happen very often in Coronation Street, so we might have to really explain this to you to get you to understand how this might happen. But Jenny gets a load of money from nowhere.
What?
Yes.
What?
I know.
That's lucky, isn't it?
I know, it's really unusual, isn't it? So the Michaelis bring around this post because they're living in the house that Johnny Connor lived in. That's right.
Apparently, yeah.
So
when this is when Jenny
he did
and
live
Johnny,
on Maudsley Street.
He did, yeah. When Jenny and Johnny had a bit of an acrimonious. Is that the right word? What do you call it when you split and you're both kind of happy with it?
Oh no, conscious uncoupling.
They had a bit of a conscious uncoupling about a year before he died. And he went to live in Maudsley Street for a little bit. And the Michaelis are now, that's Mick and Lou, of course, living in that same house.
I'm sorry.
And they have got some posts for him that they're bringing round the Rovers.
This surname is one of the most unwieldy and complicated Coronation Street surnames. It's such a mouthful to say.
I don't think it's actually been...
it doesn't sound...
I don't think it's been pronounced on the episode yet, has it?
It doesn't. It sounds like a Doctor Who villain.
Macabre.
No, it's not how you say it. Right, so they bring round this post that for him, and she's got a whole box full of all the posts that she's never bothered opening. And Glenn's like, you should go through it. So Jenny goes through it, and an envelope catches her eye. And what is it but this, her ex-husband, Mr. Midgley, and we finally get his first name.
This was just full of revelations.
Michael loved this
story this week, yeah.
We get to find out his name is Gregory. Gregory
Midgley. Yeah.
So
what's quite funny about that is that, we used to... Greg is obviously Toya's ex-husband's name in your head, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Greg.
Yeah.
What was his real name?
I can't remember. Toby?
Is
it? But we always called him Greg. And actually, this person... We've been waiting years. If you go onto Currypedia, which I have obviously fairly frequently, and you go onto the Jenny Connor page on there, it's like married, and it's always Mr. Midgley. But now he has got a name at last. Gregory. Greg.
Do you think he's a Gregory or do you think he's a Greg?
I don't know anything about him.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so she's got a pile of posts, hasn't she?
I just said.
No, I know, but I think this is something that we can all relate to, isn't it? Is it?
No.
Because we don't get posts...
You just ignore your posts.
I totally ignore my posts, but we've got drawers full of junk mail and very boring looking white envelopes that hopefully not get anything... And maybe our windfall is just buried inside one of the envelopes in our table in the hallway. But yeah, I can totally understand that. I don't feel like opening a post. So Jenny decides to take the opportunity, as it's come up again, to have a root through her letters, doesn't she?
Yeah, as I said. And she opens one, and it turns out that Gregory made some investments. It was a joint investment, so... Yeah. Obviously, somebody's going to come sniffing for this, half of it. And it shares in something or other. And if she cashes them in now, she's going to get £60,000. So she tells Rita, she's like, Rita, come here. Rita, I've got you a spa day ticket because I've got this now. Don't tell anybody because Carla will want it. And there's no point giving it to Carla because it's just a drop in the ocean, right? So bloody Rita, what does she say? Oh, I don't want it. I'm not accepting it. You should give all this money to Carla. Rita can buy
her own spa day.
I know, Rita could buy a spa at this point. That old dragon with all of her hordes of money.
I did think this is an odd thing for Jenny to do, though. Like, literally, she's been wanting money. She's desperately needing money. And knowing that she's, a blab away from getting a pretty hefty prison sentence, maybe. She gets some money and she's like, oh, first thing I'm going to buy is a new coat, a spa day. No, give it to Carly, a plonker.
Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to the rule of easy come, easy go. And I always have done.
If I spend it all now, I won't be any worse off than I was at the beginning of the day.
I said this to you. I say, look, we've got some money now. We better spend it quickly before it goes. So me and Jenny are very similar in that way. So anyway, so Rita's like disgusted, wasn't she? But then on Wednesday, she seems not so annoyed. Why? And
she still says that, you
need to tell her. You need to tell Carla. And she's like, no, I'm going to wait for my money to be in the account. And it also becomes obvious that Daisy's got no idea about any of this money.
Yeah, so what's Jenny's motivation for not telling Daisy? Is it because...
they're mad at each other?
Well, they're mad at each other, but I thought it was also the fact that Jenny is stealing from Daisy's dad.
I don't know what she thinks she's doing. Is she...
Because she's just as entitled to the money as Daisy is.
No.
As Gregory is. Is Greg still alive? I can't remember whether they said this week. I
think he's alive.
Yeah.
She's taken 30 grand of her ex, but
no, she's taken 60 grand.
Well, no, if it's joint.
If it's
he
joint,
said it was joint.
Yeah, if it's joint, then she's entitled to take all of it, just as he is. I think.
I know, but
she's.
If it's both in their names and they're not married anymore, then it's 50-50.
Yeah, no, I guess so. But I think
this is why I'm not getting divorced, because it's too complicated.
I guess she's just banking on him also having forgotten about these investments.
Well, yeah.
They are from, quite a while ago.
She didn't even know it was there. So he obviously doesn't know it's there. Can you imagine just losing 60 grand and not even realising? Right, so, Daisy doesn't know about it, and I think part of the reason Jenny's not told her is because she hasn't decided herself what she's going to do with it, and she also knows that if Daisy finds out, she's going to say what Rita's told her to do, which is to give it all to Carla.
See, I think that Jenny made a really fatal mistake here by telling Rita about it and not expecting that it would go back to Daisy.
Don't tell anybody any secrets.
Did Jenny even tell Rita, don't tell Daisy? I thought that she might have said, maybe I'm making this up here, but I thought she'd even implied to Rita that Daisy did know about it.
Yeah, I think she did.
So why on earth she thought that Rita wouldn't run her mouth off about it, especially, a couple of vodka tonics down her. She's going to be spilling her guts.
And she was banking on Rita not being in the episodes.
Well, maybe this is the point. Yeah. Rita's barely in any episodes
she
anymore.
Won't tell anyone.
Chances. She's had her one appearance for the month.
She only comes in the Rovers and talks to me. Right. So Daisy's down. Daisy's still very upset about everything that's happened. She's got no prospects. She's had a miscarriage.
Yeah, lost a baby.
She is. She just doesn't know where her future lies, and does she? And so Jenny looks like she's about to tell her about the cash, but then in comes Daniel. And Jenny's like, oh, I was going to tell you that I've got your spa voucher.
Again, what a silly mistake to make. Although it was on the spur of the moment decision to re-gift this spa voucher, but it's going to get back to Rita, isn't it?
So Daisy chats to Rita, and then Rita totally drops Jenny in it completely. Not even just the 60 grand free money, but the fact that this is a reject voucher that Rita didn't want.
Well, I think that the 60 grand thing is probably the bigger of the two revelations. I would be more insulted
by getting a reject spa voucher.
Second-hand spa voucher. No,
I don't want this. So Daisy is very furious. She pulls Daniel into the back of the pub and she tells him about everything and says, look, I don't think Jenny's even going to tell me about this. I'm going to wait 24 hours and see what she does. And so Daisy sort of talks to Jenny about the money, and Jenny doesn't bring it up.
No, about money in general. They're talking about more
get
rich quick schemes for the pub.
What can we do to raise 60 grand? Jenny's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't buy spa vouchers.
Jenny had her opportunity to confess, and she didn't. So Daisy's like, well.
She already made a bad mistake because I would have been saying to everybody, "Oh yes, I got a windfall. It was £40,000."
Yeah, you're more scheming than even Jenny Bradley, aren't you?
I am very well. I there's one thing you don't tell people about, and it's money, because people get weird. So Friday, Daisy is still spitting feathers about the fact that Jenny's hidden this from her. And then Daniel's like, oh, I know it's not Mother's Day today, but
there isn't an episode on Mother's Day, so...
Bertie's made you a homemade Mother's Day card. And then, and obviously Daisy's so sweet with Bertie, and she's like, oh, look at this. Did your daddy write this? Because the handwriting's really very neat. And then he's like, no, it wasn't me. But my handwriting is neat though, isn't it? It's like, shut up, Daniel. It's a trick for the child.
Look, he's got the punctuation right. He's put an apostrophe in mother's.
Oh, God. I would imagine Daniel would be like, no, Bertie, it's Mothering Sunday. Right, anyway, so Daniel's like, oh, Bertie's got a dentist appointment. Can you take him? And Daisy's like, no, I've got a hospital checkup for this arm.
What a conundrum.
Yes, exactly. So they decide that Jenny has to look after Bertie.
Yeah, even though Daisy doesn't. Daisy doesn't want anything to do with Jenny, but they're left with no choice.
So Jenny goes to see Carla. And this, I was really shocked by this, weren't you? That immediately Jenny tells her like, oh, I've got 60 grand, so I can give you some of it.
Carla's in a right narc in this scene,
yeah,
isn't she? Because she's still
issues.
smarting over Lisa's abandonment of her.
And Carla goes, don't give me your piddly 60 grand. I wouldn't crap on it if it was on the floor and use it to wipe my bum with. What you need to do is take that money, put it as a deposit, get a business loan and pay me back everything. I'm not having it drip fed to me. I want my money now.
She's
Get
not
out.
wrong. That is probably a sensible thing to do.
I didn't even know you could do that.
No, not well. Carla is a business lady, isn't she? She knows all the shortcuts.
Yeah, get a business loan.
Getting rich quick. Yeah.
So, if I was Jenny, I'd probably cry.
Why?
Because she was so mean. I don't like people are mean.
Jenny's definitely on the back foot in any scene that she shares with Carla.
Carla just trounced her.
Well, Carla has every right to trounce her. This woman literally robbed hundreds of thousands of pounds from her. So Jenny should be grovelling.
It was indirectly. Right, so Jenny and Daisy meet in the cafe and she tells Daisy that I've told Carla that you can't pay back the money that you owe her at the moment. She's like, why did you say that for? And then she notices that Jenny's got a new coat and she has to pretend that she doesn't know where all this money's come from. Then they leave, Jenny looking after Bertie, and Bertie then runs off when Jenny is distracted with a phone call from the bank, and he runs around and disappears, and Jenny runs around to various people asking them where he is, which filled up some time, didn't it? Found Tracy and Amy. She keeps running into buildings and saying, have you seen a child? Runs into number 1, have you seen him? No. Runs into the pub, have you seen him? No. And she recruits Tracy, Amy, and eventually Glenda to look for this kid who winds up in Sally's garden because he kicked the football there into the hot tub somehow.
Yes.
Which
with the lid off.
Steve and Cassie had taken the lid off of it and just left it unattended. And he just drowns himself immediately.
He goes in, doesn't he? But Steve and Cassie rescue him.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that bit because
they should have had a stunt child.
They should have had it. They should have just
put a mannequin in there.
Thrown in the mannequin and
thrown the Sarah mannequin in there.
Wiggled it around a bit. But anyway, he's
chop its legs off, make it look smaller. Right, so Jenny rushes in. Well, Steve comes out of the house and goes, "Oh, he's in here." So she rushes in and she's immediately like, "What are you? Oh my gosh!" And starts blaming everybody, including herself. And then Daisy comes around and helps out by doing the same thing.
Yeah,
this is all your fault, Jenny. How could you?
Daisy, do you think that Daisy has a right to be fuming at Jenny here?
She's got no idea what happened.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because it is you're
going to get angry, aren't you? They're all just taking it out.
I imagine in real life it's very easy to lose a child. They're
of course
slippery little things, aren't they?
Well, they run off. They've got no idea.
Jenny was in charge of him, and
what
defence would it be if he had, run in front of a bus or drowned or been kidnapped or whatever?
She
couldn't say, well, kids, can't keep an eye on them all the time.
Oh, wow.
So, that's why parenting's hard, I guess.
Yeah, it's difficult. I've heard that it's notoriously tricky.
Daisy's main beef with this isn't the first time that Jenny has been a little absent-minded and a bit unobservant when it comes to children in her charge.
This whole week was full of very low blows from Jenny and Daisy, but I'm going to have to just say Daisy started it because she said, how could you let this happen again? To Jenny, and I know, right, so the backstory here that obviously probably everybody knows is that so Gregory and Jenny had a child called Tom who drowned in a pool when he was younger, and Daisy was living with them. She's the half sister of Tom, and this kind of broke the family up, and this is why Jenny came back to the street and went a bit crazy and kidnapped
baby Jack.
Jack.
She's going doolally. So this is quite.
This is a big backstory of why Jenny came back to the street.
Yeah, this is
originally.
10 years in the making, isn't it? Because it was 2015 that Jenny came into the street, and like you said, went a bit doolally and kidnapped Jack. So the Tom death has been bubbling away, haunting her. I've been fascinated with it since, because I love Jenny and I just want to know everything about what she's been getting up to between 1993 and 2015. And we know so little about that time, but what we do know is about this son that she had. And yeah, we know that he drowned in a paddling pool, and Jenny's supposedly been blaming herself. But I've said it for the past 4 years since Daisy's been in the show. I think that she had something to do with it. And I'm not going to say that when Daisy was brought in, this was preconceived and it was just waiting there to be unleashed. Do you think
no
that?
Way.
No, this wasn't the backstory, but I'm just very, very pleased that what I have been theorising myself, they've also come up with a similar idea that would be quite juicy, that Daisy has got some level of blame in this. Or has she? I mean, we've done more about it. Really. No, let's wait until we get there and we'll find out.
Remember when Bertie swallowed that battery?
Yes.
Because that was where some of the some of the memories from Daisy and her.
Yeah, Daisy was like really megally overprotective. You're right. She
said that she learned first aid because she didn't want anything to happen to a child that happened to Tom.
Yeah.
So did she know? Did she really remember?
Let's wait until we get to the scene where it all comes out, and we'll.
But the fact that Daisy, and this is what I was trying to get to, she obviously loved Tom, and she had a sibling relationship, but she knows what it's like to be a mother now, and she said to Jenny, "How could you let this happen again?" That was really unforgivable, I think, and it shows that she's always blamed Jenny for what happened to Tom. And throwing that in somebody's face, who's a mum who's lost their child, is awful. And then Jenny throws it right back in her face.
I don't think it's unforgivable for Daisy to have said that.
How could you let it happen again?
Yeah.
It was an accident, both times.
I know it was an accident, but she was clearly very emotional and shocked.
Child,
she's like,
you can't just say anything you want. Look, you can't just say anything you want because you're sad. I know that's what the whole show's about, people saying stuff they shouldn't say.
But she was, like us, in a very heightened emotional state here, and although, she might come back and say, look, I overreacted here, I totally get how Daisy, in the moment, and would have said that.
Yeah,
and she is kind of a bitchy, catty kind of person, isn't she?
Yeah, but that's a totally different thing from what I'm saying.
What are you saying then?
She shouldn't have said it. You're saying, I can understand why she said it, but doesn't mean I think she should have said it. She should know better.
Yeah.
She's lost a child. She just lost her own baby. And she's throwing it in someone's face that they caused the death of their own child when she knows it was an accident.
Yeah.
She knows it, and she was there apparently.
Yeah.
She was there as well.
I'd be fascinated. I do hope that and I think we will, get to delve more into Daisy's memories of what happened here, because it kind of comes out a little bit, doesn't it, in the next couple of scenes.
Both of these characters
it's still shrouded in a bit of mystery.
I've said absolutely terrible, unforgivable things to each other this week.
Yeah.
Really, really
I hope
rotten,
they make up soon.
horrible,
I don't like it when they
foul,
fall out.
Unforgivable things.
I'm going to say that she started it, but Jenny, as the more, grown up, she's the parent.
But she's the victim because her baby died.
Well, Tom's pretty victim-y as well in this, isn't she? Isn't he?
Tom's dead. Daisy and Jenny are the only two left. And Jenny had that child. She gave birth to that child. She carried that child. She nurtured him up until the age that he died, and then Daisy throws it in her face.
But
she's mad.
I would say that
she only said it because she was mad at her about the money.
Oh, they were. Yeah, they're both holding grudges about various things,
Yeah.
and they're saying things that they maybe...
And I'm not going to let Jenny off the hook either, because she shouldn't have said what she said.
No. But the thing, Daisy was in a way a victim as well, because she would have seen what happened to Tom. If she was there,
Traumatic.
then she would have been traumatised. I don't know whether it was Jenny who found Tom, dead, or whether it was Daisy.
We don't know, do we?
I still don't think we know. We might do. I don't know whether they can retcon it, even if they've said it already, because I don't think anyone cares that much about it. But Daisy is a victim.
I didn't say
she was 16 years old. That's still young.
Jenny is more the victim because she's the mum.
Yeah. More the victim. I'll give you that. But
yeah, so that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then she's throwing it in her face. She's terrible lady.
But
naughty.
this is Daisy we're talking about here, so it's by no means out of character.
They're both terrible, aren't they? They're both really awful and vile to each other.
So do you want to just have a
Yeah,
run
of
down
course.
those?
So Bertie's like, I don't feel very well. Like, oh God, why is nobody taking him to the hospital? Why are they sitting him with a blanket around him? He'd be in the ambulance if it was my kid. So he's in the hospital. They want to give him a chest x-ray. He's fine.
Yes. Don't worry about it.
He's-
PSA, if
he's
your
like,
child falls in the swimming pool,
take him to
the
the hospital. Because you can drown in like an inch of water. And that was a whole hot tub.
Yeah.
And he said he was sick. I think he was just drinking it. So Jenny's back at the pub later. Daisy comes in and she's absolutely livid, and they have it out with each other. She's saying, you're a terrible mum. This has happened twice now. And Jenny's like, Daisy, do not go there. You do not want.
This was the bit where I was like, they're going to do it. They're going to say it. We're going to get to find out something.
Michael was like, oh my God.
Yeah, as soon as Jenny's like, don't open this can of worms. I was like, oh, get the tin opener, get that can over right now.
If you open this can of worms, I'm going to make you eat every one of them.
How's that on toast, though, Hunter?
Very much like spaghetti on toast. But it's the same. So Daisy keeps on, and Jenny's like, well, let's just talk about it then, shall we? I didn't leave him on his own. I left him with you. My son died, and it was your fault.
Brilliant.
Daisy says, I had no idea. You blame me after all this time. I was only 16. I don't even remember you saying anything to me about looking after him.
So what do you think?
What do you mean?
So what my kind of takeaway from this was that Jenny, she said she needed to go inside to get a purse, didn't she?
Yeah, look after him for a minute.
Yeah, I think it was just that. Daisy, look after him while you... And Daisy literally didn't hear. I don't think that Daisy is lying. I don't think she's told herself this lie to cover any blame or guilt that she feels for herself. I literally think that she didn't hear Jenny say, can you look after Tom?
She was only 16. Obviously, he's in a paddling pool, and you should never leave it. It's not like this. This is not the same as what happened with Bertie, because Bertie wandered off and found a hot tub and got in it. Because I think, wasn't Tom in the pool already?
I don't know. I don't think we know.
I think he was in the pool, and Jenny's like, look, I've got to go get something. You look, make sure Tom's all right.
Yeah.
And then she comes back, and he's dead. And Daisy's there chatting to a lad.
I don't blame Daisy whatsoever about this. If she didn't hear, that is not on her. And even if she did, Jenny was still the parent. But I can totally see how Daisy could blame herself, and I think she will now.
How if you had a 16-year-old girl who loved her brother, you could totally see how you would think it was okay to go, Daisy, I'm just going inside. Can you look after Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
you can't go round and double check everything every single time.
No, I think this is definitely a case of nobody's completely to blame here. It was a horrible
it was still an accident. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Nobody was prosecuted or should be prosecuted because of this.
Well, that's different from it, whether it's somebody's fault.
Well, no, if somebody was clearly being negligent here.
All right.
But they weren't.
The police, let's phone Kit up and see what he thinks. So Jenny then says, if he hadn't died, he would be in sixth form.
Yeah, thinking about his university now.
He would be alive. If he hadn't died, he would be alive.
Rubbing it in.
In fact, I think
you should get on the writer's bench now, Gemma.
I know everything there is to know about emotions and
words.
Children. So she says, you know what? It's probably good your baby died. because you're not cut out to be a mother. And
That
I was like,
well harsh.
oh.
But again,
Why
I can
did you say
totally
that?
see. I can totally see Jenny
Why
saying that.
did you say that?
I
You
can
both
see
have
lots
said
of people
things.
saying that in the heat of the moment. But
Why?
Jenny knew straight away that was overstepping the mark.
That made me say swear words.
Yeah.
In pain from like how bad. Yeah, it's like one of those things where you can imagine like the words come out and you kind of want to pull them back. Like you remember when in what was it in Kill Bill in the animated bit where Thingy's under the bed and she says whimper and then she tries to pull it back into her mouth.
Yeah.
Like why?
I think that with everything that had happened up to that
They're
point,
both terrible.
we could get to a stage fairly quickly where Daisy could say, okay, look, we both said things we shouldn't have done. We were both, heightened emotions. We were both worried about Tom. But that particular line there...
Why did you say that?
You're not fit to be a mother. It's glad your baby's dead.
Bloody hell.
Jenny doesn't even believe it either, does she?
There are some people, though, who cannot
She just said it to be
help
cruel.
themselves. Yeah, they want to hurt somebody.
Because she feels that she's under attack as well.
It's trying to hurt somebody and it's having this blind rage and it's not thinking about the consequences. Awful, both of them. I mean, I'm not going to say who's worse, but by saying Daisy started it, I'm not saying that she's more to blame. I'm just literally pointing out that she's the first person that brought this up.
Yeah.
There was no need to have said that about the fact that Bertie ran off and found his way to the hot tub. She brought it on herself. Oh, by saying something so awful.
Do you think that it fits their relationship over the years that Jenny has been harbouring this resentment for Daisy?
I don't know.
Because they have been as thick as thieves at times, haven't they?
You can forgive someone a lot of things. And also she
Yeah.
was only 16 and I'm sure that Jenny's made so many excuses in her head for what happened and why it's not her fault.
I think that Jenny would blame herself.
Don't ruin Daisy's life.
But there'd be I think you'd blame yourself, but there would be that niggle. There'd be that little devil on your shoulder saying, it wasn't you, it was Daisy. And I think she tries to suppress that sometimes.
This was like the most hurtful... This whole week was full of like really hurtful things. And it's so funny how this impacted me more than the Lisa and Carla stuff because I was like, oh, they'll be all right. Next episode, Carla and Lisa will be back together again. Whereas these two, I don't know what they're going to do about this.
Well, I think the fact that I like Carla and Lisa, but Jenny and Daisy to me are on a different level in terms of how much I'm invested in these characters. Jenny's been somebody who I've adored for the past 10 years. Daisy I've had my ups and downs with. But then the fact that this is all about this mystery that's been going on for years now, I was 100% invested in this. I just wanted more of it, and I hope we're going to get it next week.
There was a lot of women saying horrible crap to each other this week.
You're so bitchy, aren't you lot?
I know. Can't believe
Men
it.
would just punch each other in the face and then shake
they
hands and then be done with
buy
it.
each other a pint of beer.
Exactly.
No wars or anything.
But it clearly is going to be leading into something next week, isn't there? Because there's a bit of a mysterious phone call, much the same way as Ed ending 2 weeks ago with, come to Weatherfield, I've got a surprise for you.
Daisy's
Today we had Daisy saying, I need your help with something. Who could it be? I think we know. Well, I don't know, maybe people don't know. I'm not going to theorise because I know exactly
I think it's either her mum or her dad. I'd love if they casted Gregory.
I now that he's got a name, it feels like it
feels more real.
It feels tangible now. This Gregory, I just want to know what he's like.
It would make more sense if it was Gregory, but the fact that Christina has an actress makes me think that she's going to pitch up and go, "Gregory's been on the phone to me about his 60 grand.
Yeah.
Why would he know about it just because you found the envelope?" Anyway,
the reason, one of the reasons, like you said earlier, why Gregory, it's so nice to be able to say a name, and Jenny split up was because of the trauma caused by Tom dying. And I wonder whether Jenny ever tried to blame Jenny to Greg.
Daisy.
Did Jenny?
Yes, ever blame Daisy?
Yeah, to Greg and try and say, don't leave me. It was Daisy's fault. It was all to her. And he might have said, how dare you blame our daughter?
Oh God!
This is the last straw. This is all on you. I can imagine that conversation happening. And so to have it in this storyline, it would be fun to have him come back into it and say, "You're blaming her again. No, it was you."
Who was it though? Because really, honestly, it's possible, entirely possible that Jenny thought she'd said, "Can you watch Tom when I go in?" And she didn't.
Yeah, that's possible. That's absolutely possible.
It's so long ago and nobody knows. It's
It's
just an accident.
When something huge happens like this, you try and remember exactly what happened, but you rewrite it in your brain to say, no, I'm sure I told her, and then you convince yourself that you did. We'll never know. Well, Coronation Street likes a flashback, so maybe we will. By the way,
can you imagine Coronation Street doing a flashback so can watch a child.
You and I did talk about this earlier because somebody posted about it on Twitter, but I noticed it as well. 2006, there was a flashback in Coronation Street this week on Classic Coronation Street. Old gangster Ronnie, you know, the one with the mole. She was Steve's girlfriend.
She was a mole.
She knocked down a man in the street, and then she had a flashback about it a few episodes later, and I was watching it and going, "Oh my God, it's a flashback in 2006. What is this?" But yeah, I'd quite...
Coronation Street's like, see?
I think we
can do it if we want to.
Would I like a flashback, or would I prefer... I think it's more juicy knowing that we will 100% never know exactly what happened.
The thing is...
and if we knew, then you wouldn't be guessing anymore.
Is it important? No. Only to those two characters. What's important is their relationship now.
Yeah.
And that... Oh my God. The fact that Jenny's been harbouring this resentment, and if it did break up her marriage, it kind of ruined her whole life. Broke up her marriage, her baby's dead... She's moved away. Nothing from that time of her life she's got left apart from Daisy, and Daisy's the one that caused everything. Crazy. It's just so like fun. It's horrific.
So the other thing I love about this theory coming true is that Sally Ann Matthews knows that I've said that.
Oh yeah.
I've talked to her about this theory more than once in the past. So
it is really good that they tied up some. There wasn't even a loose end, was it?
No.
But they're really using the history of the characters, and this is why I say that a lot of the times people will come in and their story is not really properly written because they can do stuff like this.
Anyway, we mustn't talk about that story for too long. It wasn't a main story I guess it was. It wasn't as main as the Carla Swala situation, but it was main to us. Todd gives the nod to the god with the bod. Let's move on to new love, potentially, for Todd. Although, he's a bit in the closet, isn't he?
I think this man...
I think he needs to stay in there a bit longer and find something with arms.
This man...
Gonna get cold, bless him.
Has got some kind of horrible disease as well, because he's obviously not feeling the cold.
You don't feel the cold. He's like you. You go around with your arms out.
I don't look like...
You don't look like Theo.
Right, okay,
You're
unlike me...
quite as ripped, I'm going to say.
People don't mind him getting his arms out. Nobody's like, yeah, take more off, are they? They're like, could you please...
Cover yourself, woman.
Could you please wear this dressing gown or something?
So Eileen and Julie...
like a blanket over
Eileen and Julie are getting into their bucket list shenanigans on Tuesday, taking silly photos of Eileen strangling her. I just... Every second that Julie's in... I'm loving it. I thought I'd be sad, but I'm not. Knowing that, what's happening, I thought that I'd be watching this going, no, I give up on her. I don't care. Although we were talking last week about stories that we know how they're going to end and saying, well, I don't care about this anymore. But maybe that's not the case with this one because she's fab. Anyway, she's clearly trying to make the best of a terrible situation that she's in, but she does go into the kitchen and has a bit of a cancerous wince. She's the other one, wasn't she? It was Dee-Dee and Julie at the beginning of the week, and Rob going ooh, ah, ew, all the time.
I need to go to the hospital, but someone is already in that set.
I think any notion that Julie is faking her illness here was surely blown out of the water in this week's episode, because you don't have phantom winces, do you? If you're putting it on.
No, but that is a really good Enid Blyton book.
Phantom Wince.
And the Phantom Wince.
So she has another one later when they're out on Victoria Street and she has to duck into an alley somewhere. And I think Eileen goes off and talks to George, doesn't she? This is just outside the Undertaker's.
They introduce themselves
to
the scaffolder.
Yes, there's a scaffolder at Victoria Court. I don't know what they're doing with a tiny bit of scaffolding.
Trying to see if they can peep on anybody having an affair through the windows.
You don't need to. In Victoria Court, they just stand in the balcony, don't they,
Yeah,
Nick
should we
and
kiss
Toya?
on the balcony or somewhere inside?
Anyway, she gets. I think it's some poles fall down on nearly clock her on the head, don't they? They
Not
nearly
very
bludgeon
safe,
her.
is it?
No, and one of the scaffolders there is like, "Oh, your spoon, what are you doing?" to his scaffolder mate, and this is Theo. I don't know whether we even find his name on Tuesday's episode or it was Wednesday's.
Good builder's name, that is.
Theo. It really?
Yeah, it's a very. If a builder came to my house and he was called Theo, I'd be very sure
You get the job done.
he would be good at crevices.
He'd get you. Really?
Crenulations.
I wonder whether Todd's going to have Theo inspect his crevice at any time soon.
Don't.
Anyway.
Don't know about that.
So the scaffolding's nearly dropped on Julie's head, and she's already going through the walls a bit with her
Imagine if she
stomach
just
pains.
died of that.
Yeah, ironic. You
Save
never
everyone
know
the
when
bother,
it's going to
wouldn't
hit you. Eileen hurries her back home. Scaffolder Theo goes over to the undertakers later, kind of preemptively defending himself to George by saying, "Look, Julie was nowhere near getting it. She was absolutely fine. Don't try and take
get
me
me
to
in
court or
trouble."
anything. Nothing was going on here." And George breaks the news to him, or reveals to him that actually she's got stage 4 cancer. So she's going through a bit of a rough period actually, and poor Theo's left to feel pretty rubbish about himself for having a go at her earlier. So he goes round to Preston's to get some flowers for Julie, and he bumps into Todd again. Todd had seen him earlier. He was perving over this bare-armed guy. Is this going to be his
stupid
thing?
Outfit for a man. Like, are you not? You must be a bit chilly up there.
It's only March.
Cold up there.
You filmed this back in January as well.
Yeah. Why was he wearing such a stupid outfit?
You're
gonna get, at the very least, you're gonna hurt yourself.
I almost.
It looks stupid.
I didn't.
I know everyone loved it, but
I know everybody loved
stupid.
it, but I thought it kind of maybe builders would have their arms out on the job. It's hard
summer,
manual labour until you're going to get a bit hot. But
it just looked
when
like
he
a
was
parody.
when he was at Speed Dial later in the week,
Why
having
was
in there just in his vest, it's like no, you don't need to wear just suit and tie here. But come on, cover yourself, man.
Yeah.
Have you no shame? He clearly it's
have some decorum, Theo.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed by topless, armless men.
Thank goodness.
No.
Thank goodness
just put
for
some
me.
clothes on.
Todd, I don't know. Todd, he'll have
a pervert. Most people found this attractive. I thought it looked like, like I said, he's either cosplaying Jason Grimshaw or he's off to film a special video for a special website that you have to put your name and your age.
Do you think he's on Ovid's? Oh no, he's actually we found it. He's on
He's
Gay
on
Bay,
Gay
was it?
Is it Bay?
No, yeah, Gay Bay.
Gay Bay.
was the
I did
Weatherfield
quite like
equivalent
that.
of gay dating site. But anyway, apparently he's just Todd's type, but Todd will have anyone, to be fair, won't he? He's desperate.
Todd has
by
never
this
proven
stage.
that his type is a man who doesn't own anything with sleeves.
No, he's not. He's absolutely not.
He hasn't had enough boyfriends to have a type, to be honest with you.
No,
Has he?
not really. I'm trying to remember. Like
Billy,
was Carl right at the back at the
Sean,
beginning. I don't
dentist
think he
man?
was dentist.
Was he after the dentist?
No, I don't think so.
Was that Sean?
Sean was going after the dentist, yeah. But anyway, Todd fancies him, and they have a bit of a flirt outside the shop.
Who
Well, Todd thinks he's flirting anyway with this guy who he is just assumed as gay, because what straight builder would have their arms out in March?
Sorry, you just remind me so much of my brother, Mr. Gay Weatherfield.
Yeah, he did have a look at the Village Peoples about him,
Yeah.
didn't he? I just find, how does he know? Julie
he doesn't
actually
know.
does mention her own gaydar, doesn't she, at some point in the week? But Todd
This
just
is one of
like
the
seems
difficulties,
to have
isn't
decided
it?
straight away. To me, I don't know.
To me?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't look at him and go, well, clearly he's gay. But then I suppose I'm not. I've never had to really do much sitting and judging of people's sexuality from
He looked
first
very
appearances.
groomed. I say he looked very groomed.
Do you reckon?
He did. He looked chiselled and groomed.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that you can't be.
Yeah. I think some
builder.
manly builders are to try and impress the ladies.
It doesn't impress me.
Anyway, Todd takes Theo to the corner shop to get some cheaper flowers.
I think more the vibe. It was the vibes of like he's not pushing back on this, because he it's come a long way, isn't it? But still, if you're a bloke and you make the wrong move, or a lady to somebody who I suppose you might get yourself in serious problems.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got to be a bit subtle.
The guy seemed quite nice, and I suppose Todd thought I'd take a chance. He's probably used to it, isn't he? He's used to going to clubs and pubs and hitting on anybody.
About this.
He seems Todd seems fairly promiscuous.
We're talking about something we don't know anything about. We've never flirted with anybody.
No, I've never.
We've never been to a club and gone.
But we have seen Todd, like, I'm sure that when they're scenes at the hotel last year or the year before, I can't remember.
He just went off and flirted for the afternoon tea dance.
Yeah. So he's a bit of a flirty guy. So I guess he's kind of used to being rebuffed. So he's like, well, I might as well give it a try. And he is a bit desperate. He is literally on his Todd at the moment, and he's 40, and he is a nice guy, isn't he? I'm really sad for Todd that he's got to this age and he's really not found anything approaching a love of his life or a number one.
I do like him.
And not everybody needs a stable long-term partner, do they? But
in Coronation Street. In Coronation Street.
No. But I feel that Todd would be at his happiest if he could settle down. And I think Eileen was making similar noises to that as well this week. She wants to see him happy and settled.
Do you think he's got anything in common with Theo?
I don't think we know enough about Theo. I mean, what were your impressions of him as just a character in general?
He seems like a very happy-go-lucky working class guy.
I don't feel we know enough about him. He seems nice enough. He's certainly not a character where straight away I'm saying, oh, this is a brilliant casting, I want to know all about him. No. Wow. He
seems like one of the interchangeable mechanics.
Yeah. I honestly don't know whether he's in it for the long haul or whether this is a temporary story. Because without giving too much in the way of spoilers away, a couple of weeks ago, Coronation Street revealed the existence of both New James and Theo, didn't they?
They're both gay. I can't believe it.
In a news drop one Sunday evening. And
what's the world coming to?
I don't even know whether James... It feels like James isn't staying for good. He definitely says, I'm definitely going to America, isn't he? So both of these two could be temporary. I don't know. Or equally, he could be a long-term character. But yeah, I wasn't watching him going, wow, this is an amazing, I love him. But I'm definitely open to getting to know Theo. Although... people who do have their arms out and are flaunting their masculinity like that aren't necessarily the type of characters that I enjoy in general. But
anyway,
what?
I'm just saying. I was just only making that comment because when they released this photo, one of the comments underneath it was somebody going, "Oh my god, a gay! They put a gay character in." And it's like, no, they've recast a character that was already gay and he'd been gay the whole time, and now I imagine the same person, is probably losing their mind over the fact that there was another gay character in the same photo and they didn't even know.
I can't remember. I need to go back and have a read. I think when Theo was revealed, it may well have been said that he's a love interest for Todd, but maybe not.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, they end up at number 11. Julie gets tacky Dev flowers, and
not great.
He says, I'm sorry for your terminalness, which I thought was quite a good line. And Julie's like, it's all right, love.
I did
stick my meds earlier.
He's got a different kind of accent. What's that accent?
I don't know. Anyway, Todd kind of semi-invites Theo out for a date maybe later. He says, he
just says, do you want to go out for lunch or something?
Yeah, he's trying his hardest. And Julie gives him the thumbs up. Julie has a bit of a tragic scene later on where she says, look, I just need to keep my mind busy so that the illness doesn't consume me. She has a bit of a cry, says, I'm not ready. Awful stuff. And they have a sobby hug together, but fortunately that's not the focus of this story this week. We do then cut to Todd and Theo at speed dial. Todd kind of insinuates that this could be maybe the start of a date, couldn't it, Theo? And Theo is like, no, and makes a very hasty exit. So Todd's left thinking, oh, blown it again. I thought we were on the same bus, but
he was really blunt and rude,
not.
and I felt mortified for Todd. I would have wanted the ground to open me up, because he's just like...
He makes a very swift exit. But I think, knowing what we know about Theo and his online persona as a...
Very, very dark horse, that bloke.
Yeah. He's clearly...
I don't know what is clearly...
No, there's nothing clearly about him. But he doesn't... Oh, is he
freaked out
and just really isn't into Todd?
Is he freaked out that he's giving off vibes that he didn't know he was?
Yeah, it could be to do with that. He's gay. He's happily gay online on his gay app, isn't he?
God.
But I guess in his day-to-day...
really concerned.
No, it's fine.
I don't know what we're talking about.
On his day-to-day life, maybe like his colleagues don't know that he's gay. And...
imagine being a gay builder is not the funnest thing to be.
No.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's like, look, if we went on a date together and my mate comes in and sees me
he thinks
on a
I'm
date,
dead butch.
I've told him I've got a wife and 3 kids.
Yeah, so...
I don't know anything about this, and I don't want to offend anybody. Probably already have done that, but trying my best to understand what's going on when it's really not obvious.
I think you're right when you said that if he's given off the gay vibes that are being picked on the gaydars, then
I don't think he was, though. I think that Todd's just chancing it because of the vibes he gave off. Like, oh, okay, he's not telling me to go die in a hole.
There was nothing to me about Theo that screamed, I'm
not going to say anything.
No, I really didn't think so. But you said he was well presented, but I don't know.
I think men are disgusting unless they're gay.
He could have just been a metrosexual.
Any man who is handsome and well put together, I just immediately don't think he's straight.
Yeah.
Because all straight men are foul.
Yeah, just like me. Todd comes...
That's clearly what I mean.
Into the lounge on Wednesday, telling his family about this failure at wooing Theo, and Julia's like, no, he definitely is. He's definitely gay. You just need to be persistent.
You can't. That's rapey, Julie.
It's a little bit. I mean, Julie's definitely on the, keep on trying. What can I lose? Train at the moment herself,
flowers as well, isn't she? She's like, what's the bit of sexual assault if you're going to be a thief as well?
Yeah.
What can they do to me?
We're not all lucky like you, Julie. We've got terminal cancer and we can just do what we want without any consequences. Some of us have to live with this. So anyway, Julie brings Eileen some flowers to the cab office later to say thank you for being lovely and lovely sisterliness. And Eileen's like, oh, they might make good funeral flowers. So she's starting to get on board with the fact that maybe speaking about Julie's funeral, and this is clearly what Julie wants, could be the way to go. And they have a bit of a chat there, and Julie says, look, they move on to talking about Julie's final wish, which was seeing everyone she cares about settled and happy. And this is when they decide, well, we need to do a little bit of cupiding here, and get Theo and Todd match made up together. He could be his Mr. Right.
One thing I was thinking about Eileen relenting about the funeral stuff is that it probably is quite cathartic after having dodged it for a bit. Like, she's trying to avoid it because she thinks that she can pretend it's not happening, but it's like a dark presence that's haunting you whenever you're with your sister.
Yeah. But
if she just confronts it, it probably feels better now. She's even acknowledged that there will be a funeral.
I think she would. Yeah. So they go back to the scaffolding again, and Julie's great. She goes to the bottom and is like, "Hey, nice arms," just to try and get his attention.
And then Eileen's standing there too, like, yeah.
I know, it was so fun. It was brilliant. Bit of catcall in there, and they make out that they need somebody to look at
harassment.
They need to have somebody to look at their leaky roof. They're making up the excuse on this one.
Doesn't the builder would do that, love. Yeah. And they're like, no, the builder told us that he couldn't be bothered to get a
so funny. It was brilliantly written and fantastically performed
hilarious.
by Katie and Sakati.
Oh, it was brilliant.
I loved it. And he's like, oh, I'll come round and have a look at it later if you want. And Julie gets his number off her as well. And then they get really gropey.
That's bad.
There's no way that they could do that the other way around. Can you imagine? These two guys trying to get a girl over and just like honking her boob as they leave or something?
I don't think it's the same. I'll say
it's
number
not a million miles away. Not a million miles away.
I don't understand
if you don't want your arms
squeezed. You don't want your arms squeezed It doesn't matter what
wear
what
a long
gender.
sleeve shirt.
No! I was going to say, if you don't want your arms squeezed, it doesn't matter what gender you are. Nobody should squeeze your arms.
It was just fun. I just love this story because it was a lot of fun.
It was campy.
And it was campy and it was kind of a bit cheeky as well. It was a real tonic compared to the Carla and Lisa drama.
Nobody's honking any boobs in that story either.
Then
not this week.
No. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe when
Maybe
Carla
next
and
week.
Lisa made up, there was a bit of honkage going on.
We don't know.
Anyway, do you think?
That's
I
fanfics.
don't think that Lisa's honk. I think they make a police siren sounds.
No, that's enough. I quit the show.
Terrible. So anyway, they come around the house later. Todd's been set up to be there as well. Theo's there. Todd's there. It's one of these, oh, you need to go to this place at the same time. Oh, what are we doing here? Oh, it's a setup, isn't it? And they kind of have a bit of a smile when they realise what's been going on and they've been manipulated somewhat by mischievous Auntie Julie.
Oh no, this is when Theo's a bit rude and blunt.
Well, I thought he wasn't the first time as well. But anyway, he's like, I'm not gay. This has got to... Oh, yeah, he was more blunt here, wasn't he?
It was
yeah, he's like,
quite...
I just need to be left alone. And it's...
Yeah, I got him confused. No. This was the time it was a bit...
Yeah, he's been confronted. He's being used, I suppose. And if he wasn't gay, I think this would be fair enough that somebody said... somebody put you in a really... It's not a risky situation, but a bit of an embarrassing situation it would be, wouldn't it?
If you want to be left alone one way or another, that's enough. Nobody needs to say anything else.
Yeah. So Todd's fuming at this, that he's been set up and to be humiliated by an angry scaffolder, and he reveals to Julie and Eileen, no, Theo's not gay. Stay out my sad and non-existent love life, thank you very much. So he goes back to speed dial again. He's probably trying to get the stamps on the card or something, a new Leanne initiative.
Free...
We didn't see Leanne at all in these scenes. I was very disappointed by this.
Free onion bhaji.
Mango lassi all the way.
Nice.
They've got unlimited mango lassi. It's the only drink. Theo comes in. Again, wine. But
why are they both in there all the time?
It's clearly Leanne's new initiatives. Like I say, it's doing
it's
the
the
job.
lunch. It's the lunch menu.
It's the lunch menu. Yeah.
He's there for the loaded fries.
Yeah.
What was it? Todd orders this big platter, and then Alia brings it. She's like, "That's not a food for one, you fat pig," didn't she?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
It's mind your own business.
Anyway, long story short, Todd and Theo end up having a chuckle together about the whole situation, and Todd's trying to ask him a bit about himself, like, you married, you got a girlfriend, and Theo says it's complicated, doesn't want to delve into it.
What is the deal?
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't eat together, they don't sit at the same table.
No, I think they're at the table next to each other.
That would be gay.
But anyway,
and Theo's not gay.
Todd's left scrolling this gay bay app. And then he takes it home, and he's still having a look there, and he finds that somebody who I didn't really get what was going on here.
Don't understand.
So he's found somebody's profile that doesn't have a photo on it.
Right.
But this and
he's chatting.
Yeah, they're chatting, and then he asks for a photo, and he gets sent it to him, and lo and behold, it is Theo, and he's got more than his arms out on this. It is an above the waist shot, but it's not leaving very much to the imagination, I'm going to say.
He's topless, and he's got his muscles.
He is very six-packed, isn't he? Yes.
8-pack, 9-pack. Todd
thinks all this Christmas has
now,
come at
hang on.
once at
But
this
what
point.
does
He's like,
he think?
ha 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 ha.
No, but what does he think? He can't think, oh, brilliant.
He does.
No,
I think
because
he does, because he's thinking
but why?
He is gay. He thinks
but Michael,
I do still have a chance.
No, Michael.
No, I think he does.
He doesn't have a chance. If you're trying to get with someone and they're like, literally, I'm not the same sexual orientation as you, leave me alone. That's not like a little flirting technique. That's like saying, I'd rather lie to you and pretend I'm not even gay than even have you think there's a chance.
Todd knows all too well from personal experience about denying his sexuality.
He's not denying his sexuality. He's on gay bay.
To people's face. And back when Todd was denying his nature, back in the early 2000s, there was no gay bay then. But he was telling everyone, and he was in complete denial.
Oh,
he was
having a
setting
baby
up home
with
with
a
Sarah
lady.
Lou, and so he knows what it's like. But he was worn down by Carl at work. And Todd, I think, is now thinking, okay, I can wear him down.
Oh no!
I think Todd would think this guy is just in denial about being gay.
Okay.
I have still
see what
got
you're
a chance with him. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying. It's like literally. As a woman, I think many women will tell fibs to blokes to put them off, rather than just go no, thank you, because we're scared of what will happen if we reject a guy. So we're like, oh no, can't. I'm a nun or whatever, right? So maybe I'm projecting that. But, like, literally, I can't see how somebody saying I'm not gay, and then being on a gay dating app means you've got a chance with them. But guys obviously think differently.
Clearly. What I didn't particularly get was...
So do you think
does Todd also not have a photo on there?
It's a very massive coincidence, first of all, that he's randomly...
Yes, clearly.
This is what confused me.
Maybe it's a local gay way to dating
Maybe
site. Maybe it's Simon's, exactly.
Maybe Simon's pivoted.
From local food deliveries to local
bay delivery.
Gay hookups. Maybe.
It's applicable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so...
Now has members in the double digits.
Maybe, how about this? Maybe Todd has got a picture, but it's actually a lady.
Do you reckon?
And he's... gay bay. And
so
somehow...
Todd was
no, that's
saying...
a joke. He hasn't put his picture on, has he?
Todd was saying, this is weird, this guy's not got a picture. But Todd clearly also does not have a picture. But the first thing that we see of gay bay is literally swiping through pictures. So how can you be on this site without putting a picture on?
Maybe
I've never been on a dating app in my life. Can you have a profile that doesn't have a photo? I really don't know.
Can you just have like a picture of a cat or something?
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, you're right. I think that it was a massive coincidence, but it was kind
That's
of fun.
what really
and I was very
baffled
sad
me.
that this wasn't in tonight's episode.
Chad did explain it to me on Facebook.
Oh, did he? What did he say?
Chad. He just said what you said, I think.
Oh, okay.
That he was on there, and he was what you just said. I think that he contacted him.
So what are you imagining is Theo's home life? Does he have a girlfriend?
I think
he have children? And maybe that could be, why he is so much in denial, because he's like, I
that makes
trapped.
him a scumbag.
Does it?
Yes, because not being gay and having a family, because that's complicated.
He said it was complicated.
What? He did say it's complicated.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship with somebody and going on a dating app is what I'm talking about. That is scumbag behaviour. I don't care whether you're straight. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're in a relationship. You don't want to be in it. Just get out of it. And then you can go on gay bay.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But I can't wait to find out.
I'm not going to feel sorry for him if he thinks he's trapped in a relationship because it's not, it's not that era anymore. I feel like maybe there are people that are like that, but it's not. It doesn't feel excusable to ever cheat on anybody.
No.
For that reason.
No.
I can understand that in the past it was safer. I'm
really looking forward to seeing what happens next in this. As I say, I'm not massively enthralled by Theo as a character. It's early days. He seems like just bog standard.
That's what I mean. He's just a bloke
at the moment.
He's like the
handsome,
sort of guy,
suave bloke, which the ten a penny.
He's not suave.
Well, no, he's well groomed, like you said.
He's the sort of guy that in the past he would have been. He's a real ladies' man. He's going to break some hearts on the street.
Yeah.
He's going to turn the heads of a few of the major characters of Coronation Street.
Yeah, he totally is. He totally is. He'd be up fascinating. He'd be nominated for the sexiest soap star if that award still existed.
Michelle Keegan would still win it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more. What was the other thing I was going to say about it? I had another point. I think it's left my head.
Sorry.
So I will move on from that.
If you remember it.
But good. Oh no, it was this thing about. I think it was Chris on Twitter suggested to us, because when Theo leaves Todd in Speed Dial, Dee-Dee and Sarah Lou come up to him, and they're both kind of perving over Theo a little bit as well, aren't they? So Chris suggested, do we have a story where Sarah is pursuing Theo and Todd is at the same time? Maybe Theo...
And then Theo says to Sarah, I'm gay!
No, but maybe Theo gets together with Sarah is because he's in denial about his sexuality, and those two date for a little bit whilst Todd knows that Sarah is going out with a gay man. Again. Yeah, exactly. I actually think that could be a really interesting story, and I love any time that they put Sarah Louise together with Todd in a story. They're great, those two characters. I know that one of them's a different actor now, but they've got really great chemistry, and they should dive back into that well a little bit more often. So I'd really be happy if the story was going that way.
I like the idea, but I don't think you can be in denial that you're gay when you're on Gay Bay.
No, but you can have. He's got his secret life, hasn't he? He's got his public facing life, the roughy tufty arms out builder, and he's got his
with a business card.
Yeah, and he's got his secret life, which is my completely top off gay babe persona. I think
sometimes I have sleeves, but never. No, you never have sleeves.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a top, and sometimes I don't.
Exactly. Anyway, watch this space for this storyline.
Maybe he's like a gay version of Superman, and when he instead of putting the glasses on and he's Clark Kent, he puts his hard hat on and he's straight, but when he takes it off...
Maybe.
Does that not work?
It works fine for me. Let's do some other stories. Talking of Dee-Dee, she's still up the duff, isn't she?
Poor Dee-Dee is having very hard times because on Wednesday she's got this appointment with the potential adoptive parents, but when she comes back she's not really sure about them. She's got this weird feeling. I think she might be projecting a little bit about Joel because she's like, oh, the dad's a lawyer. I don't trust him. And Sarah says, look, are you sure you actually even want to go through with this adoption? You don't want to keep the baby? And she's no, 100%. I don't want to keep the baby. So they end up in speed dial, and Sarah's like, look, those people seemed perfect. What are you finding fault with them? And Dee-Dee's like, I'm just really worried. Like, I've only got one job here, is to find them the perfect parent. And I don't want the baby to grow up feeling that it isn't loved. So on Friday, Michael's back from his holiday.
Who knew that he was away?
He's been caught up with everything. Mm-hmm. Dee-Dee takes...
She always sigh.
It's how I breathe. I do, I know, I'm sorry.
It's true. Quite often I'll say to Gemma, what are you sighing for? I'm just breathing.
I'm just breathing.
My natural heavy-heartedness.
I'm just so sick of life. James takes Dee-Dee to lunch, and he's still trying to sort of talk to her about the adoption, and she's like, I'm not gonna talk.
No, never. Not in a million years would I let you have my baby.
And then she has some
to
twinges.
The end of the episode.
And so she goes to the hospital because James insists. So they get taken there. She speaks to a very lovely nurse, and she's very sympathetic, and she asks her lots of questions and reassures her and says, I think it's Braxton Hicks. I think you're just feeling your body's getting ready. You might need a wee.
Yeah.
Which
there's an awful lot of discussion about Dee-Dee's weeing tonight, isn't it?
I know they've had lots of births and things and pregnancy stuff, but I don't recall them ever being. And I'm using the word graphic. I'm use the word graphic, but it isn't. It's like what you would say. I guess personal. It's like very. You wouldn't normally see that on telly. You know, like a nurse going, "Have you done a wee recently?" They would never say that. It's like in the hospital. Imagine if after Carla had her kidney thing, the nurse going, you can't go home until you've done a poo, because they do say that to you.
Do they?
Yeah. So the fact that they were talking about that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just think there's a lot about pregnancy. Yeah, I know you don't. There's a lot about pregnancy and what happens to your body that we never get told as women. Ever. Never get told.
Doesn't come out your tummy button, does it?
Until you are in a position where it's too late.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the worst things that we do to girls is to not educate them about what can actually happen, because I think they're scared that if we knew that we wouldn't have babies, because I found out and I don't have any.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember when I thought the worst thing that could possibly happen is when you have a baby you might do a little poo, and I thought that was horrific, and then I found out all the other things. Forget it. Right, so
I'm still in the dark.
You don't know, do you? I'll tell you later. So Dee-Dee and James come back home. She's just like, thank you for being here with me today. I do appreciate it. You are going to America and you're never coming back.
Right.
Is that right? And they don't have phones there or the internet. And he's like, well, they do at the moment, but I think they're going to get rid of it soon. And he says, oh, I'm so sad I didn't get to adopt a baby. And she's like, oh, do you still want one? He's like, yeah. Do you want this one? Yeah. Really? Thank you.
She's had her idea. Like, this is the women on Coronation Street this week are very feeble-minded, aren't they? Like Rob saying, Lisa, I'll tell you what, it's all Carla's fault that Betsy's been shot, isn't it? And she's like, yeah, you're right, it is Carla's fault. I'm going to go and tell her. And James is like, oh, come on, can I have your baby?
He's like,
oh, go on,
I had a baby. I wish I had a baby.
Dee-Dee.
If only I knew someone had a baby.
Yeah.
Well, you forgot the other one.
What?
Rob tricking Lisa into thinking that her favourite pudding is fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies, that's true. Yeah, so anyway, James is going to have the baby. I still think it's a bit of an odd idea. And
this is one of the other things that's not human behaviour. Because Dee-Dee is basically saying, you can only have this baby if I never see you again. But she loves this guy. You know, they are in the world
of video calling. Like,
yes.
If he lives in America, she's going to be seeing him all the time.
I never want to see you again because you're adopting my child. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I think she's going to be too regretful. I think
I don't like the way
free to do whatever they want.
I don't like where this is heading.
If she was my mate, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
I don't know. I don't like where this is heading because it feels a bit like it's saying, oh, you know, women, if you think you might want to give your baby up, you're wrong. Because she's so sure that she doesn't want this baby and she's doing everything she can to try to make it easy for herself. But you just know James isn't going to go to live in London, is he? And he's not going to never speak to her again.
I know.
Because this is a soap.
I know.
It just feels a bit unfair. And yeah, the idea that she's like, nobody's said to her, you know, you're giving your brother up so you don't have to see this baby. She's not thought about this.
And this is the rich brother as well. This is the footballer brother.
She hasn't thought about it.
You want to give up one brother, give that failure Michael.
I know. It's not like he's going to Antarctica.
No.
She's going to America. You can go there really easily. You can go there in a day.
I wonder whether the baby, when the baby will be told who its birth mother really is. Like, whether they'll be honest with the kid from the start. Or
it's
whether
so
it's
confusing.
Going to be a massive revelation.
There's a lot of stuff here that they should really be talking about.
There's still time. She's not going to have a baby anytime soon, or is she?
Well,
she's having a bit more Braxton Hicksting at the end.
Well, she's looking in
episode,
pain, but she looks worried, but she's trying to ignore it.
Yeah, they're having a celebration at the Rovers, aren't they? And she's like, "I'm fine," but I don't think she's fine. We'll see. We'll find out more next week, no doubt. It seems to be leading that way for sure. Right, let's rush through these other storylines because we're running a little bit late. We've gone off track a little bit. Yeah, it's the pudding discussion that really did it, wasn't it? Kevin's storyline. It's Debbie, really, isn't it? She's still being harassed by Mick, who really does need the money that he's owed from last week, and she's refusing to pay it. We also find out that she's lost her purse and she reckons that Mick must have stolen it.
Yeah.
Because she was emptying her bag out in the cafe, wasn't she, at the beginning of the episode to find her phone, and she thinks, well, he must have swiped it then. So anyway, they all end up in the Rovers later, Ronnie, Debbie, Mick and Lou, and it's not long before accusations are being thrown about this stolen purse. So Jenny has to calm the situation down and Robbie takes Debbie home. She's spitting feathers back at number 13. Because obviously she does have a home of her own, we just never see it. So she has to use Kev's if she wants to.
I think
show
she
it
hopes
on
Kev
screen.
dies of cancer so she can take his house.
Yeah.
What
anyway,
a bitch.
I don't know whether this was obvious and they just didn't make a big thing of it.
They did.
Or I don't know whether it was
very
supposed to be
lingering.
subtle. But she opens the fridge and she looks. She gives a lingering look in the fridge, doesn't she?
And she looks shocked.
And to me, that's a look of, oh, my purse is in the fridge. But they didn't show her getting the purse out of the fridge. They didn't, like, even the following episode, have her going and retrieving it from there.
She hasn't found it yet, has she?
Well, I think that she has. I think that she opened her...
she hasn't been seen with it since, has she?
No. Well, the storyline kind of dropped off a little bit not long after this. So
Ronnie's like, let's call the police. Let's get Mick. Let's tell the police about Mick. And then she says, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So if it was the purse in the fridge, then it makes sense that she'd be like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Don't. Let's just not talk about it.
So that was a bit odd. Wednesday, it kind of goes more onto her relationship with Jack, doesn't it? Because he's had another fight at school. He just seems like, doesn't seem at all the type of child that would get into a fight.
But he's
never
big
mind.
though. Maybe he bullies the other kids because he's so enormous.
Maybe. And Debbie has to. Does she take him home from school? I can't remember.
Well, she manages to.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Crawshaw, congratulations.
Head teacher. She has a promotion, and we will. For the people that don't know, because there are people out there, Mrs. Crawshaw was always supposedly the deputy at Weatherfield High, despite the fact that she did everything.
Mr. Griffin was a lazy ass.
Yeah, Mr. Griffin, the head teacher, was not
always in his office doing something.
Yeah,
I think it was on Gaybo.
But anyway, she's apparently the head teacher now, so that's lovely for her. But Debbie's been able to persuade her not to suspend Jack, and
he's only got one leg.
Would she be able to do that? I don't know.
I
say that if Mrs. Crawshaw is a newly appointed head, she needs to stand her guard. She needs to say, if I say a kid's suspended, he's suspended, because if she changes and bends exactly, then she's shown her weakness, and that is not good leadership.
You don't know how long she's been head teacher.
Although maybe her style is, I'm going to show that I'm going to listen to the parents and aunts of my children. I don't know. Anyway. They basically just have a nice time together, Debbie and Jack, and I don't really. They're building a relationship here, aren't they? So
Kevin, and they're all happy by the end of the week.
Yeah, Kevin's given Jack a chocolate games controller.
Why?
Because why not?
Wait till Easter.
And they have and Kevin's happy in the pub, and he apologises to Ronnie for being grumpy with him.
I think Kevin should have given up being grumpy for Lent.
He couldn't do it. I've still not gone on the digital spy forum. I'm managing it. How long have we got till Easter? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I can do it. Dylan, Gemma, what's he been up to this week? Sean and the bum phone being smuggled into the clink.
They, Sean puts the phone into
the burner phone
into Daniel's bag secretly when he's not looking, and then he tells Dylan on the phone, like. He's like, gives him all these cryptic messages, but it's basically like, look in the bag. So during a lesson, one of the kids chucks something at Brody, and there's a big kerfuffle, and Daniel jumps up to break it up.
Dylan takes the opportunity while there's a distraction.
He roots about in the bag, and then Daniel confronts him, like, what were you doing near my bag? And Dylan says, I was just getting a pen. He says, oh, you better not go near my stuff again. What's he got in there? Back in the cell, Brody is impressed when Dylan gives him the phone, and Dylan says, "We're done now. That's it." And Brody's like, "No way, you idiot! Of course I'm not done with you."
Yeah, he's proven himself to be quite the asset here, isn't he? So Sean, and I think Sean was worrying before about, like, or maybe it was Izzy saying it, like, well, what's going to be next? Drugs, is it? So yeah.
So Sean phones Dylan, and he's like, did you get the secret message? And he's like, yeah, but is everything okay now with you and Brody? Is that it? And Dylan's like, don't know.
Tell you what, if it's a burner phone and a bum phone, that is going to give you a ring of fire, isn't it? Right, the skank in the plank to finish things off. I mean, we kind of mentioned this earlier, but yes, Cassie and Steve have been spending a bit of time together on Friday's episode, which I'm all for. I think they're great together.
Well, Steve's still in a huff with her, isn't she?
At the beginning, yeah. Because of
all
the whole
poisoning
thing. But Ken's forgiven her, and today was Steve's turn. So Steve ends up round number 4. Because Tim's got a parcel that's coming, I think. And I did enjoy that little punchline at the end of this, where Tim comes home into the whole drama of Bertie nearly drowning in the swimming pool, and he finds the missed package thing sticking out the letterbox.
I love the idea, because everybody was there the whole time, right? So I like the idea. The postman came to the door, and he opened it, and then they're all crying about a baby drowning 10 years ago, and he's like, I'll just say they weren't in. I'm not.
I wonder what the package was. Did he say what it was?
Well, it was from Rosie for Mother's Day, so she's missed dinner.
Oh yeah, that's sad, isn't it? Okay, so Steve.
It's probably more drugs. Steve's round. What Rosie's like.
When he's round there, he's looking at Tim's inspirational quotes book, and reads "Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself." Which I
wouldn't touch this book.
Not if it's been in the toilet and been thumbed through while Tim's on the.
been contemplating too long in that place with this book.
Yeah. Steve says, right, Cassie, come round, let's have a chat. The book told me I got to forgive you. And
it's a present.
He says, look, you're clearly trying to make amends for what you did. So, and I do miss you being around. So she immediately like slinks up to him and she's like, hey, come on then, Steve, you want to go upstairs?
She's so randy.
She's totally randy, yeah. And Steve's, he's not...
He's up for it. Yeah, he's the street Lothario. She better watch herself.
She's probably pregnant now, isn't she? After a night with Steve. Let's be fair to us. They come downstairs in Tim and Sally's dressing gowns. And then there's all this Bertie drama that comes home and they are caught out. Tim's livid and a little bit disgusted that they've been at it in his bed and wearing his dressing gown.
That is not acceptable.
It's totally not. Although, where would be an acceptable place to do it in your mate's house? Do you reckon no? Anybody could be sitting in the sofa. Don't do it at all. That's what's acceptable. Just on the floor if you must. If you have to give in to your carnal urges,
disgusting behaviour.
Yeah. They could have been caught. It was a bit risky. But I suppose Cassie doesn't care. She's a proper means, doesn't she? She thinks it's fun. She enjoys living on the edge. Anyway, Tracy hears about this and goes storming around to have it out with Steve later. It's like, you skank. This skank is trying to kill my dad and you're there backboning her. And he's like, well, so what?
It's like, well, worse things have happened.
Yeah.
You killed a man.
He says, like, it won't happen again. It will do.
It will do. I mean,
they even, I think Steve and Cassie agree between each other that it was probably a bad idea. Or it was more Steve saying, I don't think it should have happened. That. Yeah, but Cassie says, oh yeah, I guess not. But I don't think she thinks it. She's going to be pursuing him now. She's had a taste of the Big Mac and she wants more.
We could be looking at the next Mrs. McDonald.
I don't know, maybe.
I would love it if he got married again because
I would.
Steve needs to have as many wives as we could possibly get.
He's already the most married character on the street, isn't he?
Keep it going.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to snatch that crown.
I would love to. I like Cassie. I'd like to see her have happily ever after.
So we all just don't care that she tried to kill Ken. Then
no,
we don't care anymore.
I forgive her. I've talked about this.
Okay.
I'm surprisingly fine with the fact that Steve and Tracy are kind of over. I've kind of made peace with it. As much as I was all for them getting married, when so many other Coronation Street fans were saying, no, it's a disaster.
I really love them together.
I do like them together, but
I'm
more
feel
excited
over it
at
as
the
well.
moment with Steve and Cassie.
I don't think they're exciting as those two now.
No, for sure.
And you didn't mention it, but Amy does tell Tracy that Grandad Ken said that you can move back into number one.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't remember that she wasn't allowed there. I don't know what that. It was
another little temporary cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was this week's Coronation Street. I thought it was quite a good week in total. You had your hostage situation.
There was a lot of stuff that happened. I really loved that stuff with Carla and Lisa, and the stuff with Jenny and Daisy.
Giving us more details about Tom's watery demise, which I've been begging for the past 10 years. That's going to give it an extra half point right there. I loved the stuff with Todd and Theo, and Julie was. I thought
it was a good week actually.
I thought it was a good week. Yeah.
I gave one day a banging. Did I?
Yeah, today we gave banging.
No, I gave it bog standard.
Did you? Oh no, you're right. We did. I think we might have given Monday and Wednesday a banging. I don't remember. I think I'm going to give this 4 pilfered nosegays.
Damn it! I was going to say nosegays.
I'm sure you can think of something different.
I'm going to give it 4 as well, and I'm going to give it 4 self-made ducks. But I don't know what that means.
Oh, right. You're giving away the fact that I'm giving you some options to choose from here. Self-made ducks, that's Scrooge McDuck, isn't it? Remember the conversation with Daniel and his memory unlocked about Scrooge McDuck? I don't think people forget about Scrooge McDuck and his money pit. I think that's kind of a lingering memory in us all.
That's the only thing I know about him, is he had a great big money pit and he swam around in it, and for some reason he breathed coins.
Yeah. I love that. I love the intro sequence to DuckTales.
That's the only thing. The theme tune of that is one of the greatest cartoon theme tunes of all time, and there are some bangers out there.
Who I still have
Gummy Bears is another classic.
I'm one for Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs. I can recite most of the words to those, if not all of them.
It's low class though.
What are we given for character of La Semaine, Gemma? I could go Rob, possibly. Equally, Debbie was as delightful as always.
Jenny and Daisy disgraced themselves.
Yeah, they did. They were fun to watch. I could go for Todd.
I like Todd.
Or Julie.
I think maybe Julie. Yeah, I think Julie gave me some real chuckles this week.
Yeah,
and I love her. I wish she wasn't gonna die.
Wish she wasn't. Staring death in the face. I think that
it doesn't make it better that she's dying. It could have been just as delightful if she wasn't about to die.
It really could have done. A lot of this could have happened without her. Yeah.
And I'm never going to give up on that.
Off a perch.
I'm not going to let that go.
I think I'm going to go for Todd. We've given Julie one recently, and I'm going to give props to the fact that Todd was there with a lead story. And he was also very entertaining this week.
So I can't wait for all the obvious puns you're going to make with Theodore.
He's not really a very punnable name.
No, like a door. When they get together, you got to think of a pun that goes with Theodore.
Okay.
Theodore.
Well, watch
Todd.
this space.
Can't wait for it.
Okay, let's end it there. Thank you everybody for listening to our Street Talk for the week.